cease from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, happy almost Friday to you, my buddy.
Hey, happy Thursday, Crudy. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Almost always a pleasure. Buddy,
Almost.
this show,
Most of
I
the
can
time.
tell this show will be very pleasurable.
Yeah. How
Even if
pleasurable will it be?
Even if we have to self-gratify.
Isn't that what
Dominic,
we do? We kind of self-gratify every day on this show. That's what makes it so entertaining, at least for us. For me.
well, you know, if you can't self-gratify, Dom, you know what happens? You get all pent up and, you know, you get a little hangry or angry. I don't know what that's called precisely. But
I'd like to keep it on
perhaps
manual control for a while.
But perhaps, Dominic, this breaking news at the Raw story, originally at MSNBC this morning, maybe we know why Donald Trump's got like 20 tweets a day in him, right?
He's got a lot of pent-up energy.
Apparently, Dom, it is being reported you cannot observe pornography in the White House. And for Donald Trump, this has been something of an issue. Apparently, Melania not so close as the stormy story has grown.
No porn in the White House. That is outrageous. This is America.
Well, Morning Joe's girlfriend, Mika Brzezinski, broke this story this morning. MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski revealed that President, we found it at the Raw story, Travis Geddes, same guy that reported yesterday our president is a dictator by 10 different metrics. MSNBC's Mika Brzezinski revealed that President Donald Trump's biggest complaint about his job is that he is no longer can watch pornography from his office.
Oh, now we know why he goes to Mar-a-Lago every other weekend.
To me, this is a very, very sexy subject.
Yeah, high-speed internet down in Florida.
The Morning Joe co-host struck around Thursday for MSNBC Live with Stephanie Ruhle to speak with the attorney for Stormy Daniels to discuss insults about the former porn actress by Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani. The hypocrisy is astounding, Brzezinski said, because I know someone who spoke to Donald Trump recently about life in the White House, and Donald Trump's biggest complaint was that he's not allowed to watch porn in the White House. So there you go.
He's the president. Who's going to stop the president from watching porn in the White House?
Be
I
best.
didn't
Oh, that's right. Maybe Melania would.
I hadn't finished the entirety of the quote yet, Dom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So there you go. There's a little bit of news for you. See what I was working up to there and all, Dom.
That's a little bit of news.
Yes, it is. Brzezinski angrily lashed out at Giuliani several times during her program after Giuliani's remarks. Dom, I think we've got some of these, which she said could embolden other women to come forward to challenge the president over his past treatment. So, Dom, what was Giuliani saying that inspired this out-of-school tale from Mika Brzezinski?
Well, we have some of that sound, but before we do, let's just take a moment and think about this for a second. Brzezinski says that she, because I know someone who spoke to Donald Trump recently about life in the White House, and Donald's biggest complaint, he's not allowed to watch porn. Wouldn't you name names? Can you name names, or is otherwise, is this just do you believe it, I guess is the question.
I believe it. You believe it. You believe it.
I do believe it.
I mean, this might have come on, what do they call it, background, but I believe that, Donald Trump likes to observe pornography. And let's not forget, it's not just that he's watching it at the White House. Of course, that is the personal residence. What the man does late at night on his commode, I don't care, or wherever he gets away from.
Or early in the morning. I mean, he doesn't sleep much, I guess. And, maybe it helps him sleep. It's like therapy. Keeps the testosterone up.
It seems to me, Dom, that he keeps most of his energy for morning tweets. But anyways, lost my point.
Giuliani. Let's get to Giuliani, speaking about Stormy Daniels. And there's a lot of ways to go to this. Let's just hear some of the sound, and we'll analyze afterwards. Brian, going to need your help. Let's start with number 84.
The business you were in entitles you to no degree of giving your credibility any weight.
So because she is a porn actress, a porn star, she has no credibility. Now, I don't know why that would be the case. And my understanding, Megyn Kelly has actually even come to Stormy Daniels' defense in this regard. But let's keep going. Cut 85.
Explain to me how she could be damaged. I mean, she has no reputation. If you're going to sell your body for money, you just don't have a reputation.
Wow, old white guy Giuliani, way to lay it out there. Number one.
Dominic.
Yes.
Giuliani and Trump, to represent Trump is selling one's soul for money. Literally, it's a Faustian bargain that Giuliani makes here.
But that's not sex. That's different.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. If you assist the president in screwing over the American people, that is just simply being a patriot. But if you literally screw somebody, then apparently that's when you lose all credibility and have no reputation.
Well, thank you for trying that distinction for me, Dom. I didn't quite understand up until now.
Let's keep going. Giuliani, very critical of Stormy Daniels and I guess anybody who's in the porn sex industry. 86.
Very, very credible source. Stormy, the porn star. Every porn person can't be a star. I never heard of her before. Now, I don't really look at porn.
You heard of her.
I don't really look at porn. Not really. It's only sometimes. Sometimes I look at porn. Notice he didn't say I never look at porn. I don't really look at porn. Of course, being very condescending, not every person can be a porn star. A star, you can be in porn and not a star, I guess. Not every person can be a good president or a competent lawyer either, but that's neither here nor there. Let's continue on. Giuliani critical of the porn stars. 87.
I'm sorry, I don't respect a porn star the way I respect a career woman or a woman of substance or a woman who has great respect for herself as a woman and as a person and isn't going to sell her body for sexual exploitation.
Now, didn't Trump's wife actually sell her body for sexual exploitation? I've seen semi-nude photos of the First Lady.
Well, nude photos. She's nude. Whether or not they show us full frontal, and I've seen full frontal of the First Lady. Quite an attractive woman in her day. But ultimately, Dom, I'm not sure if Giuliani draws between nude model and one that actually fornicates on the camera.
He did not make the distinction. Exploitation, sexual exploitation. Let's continue on. 88.
When you look at Stormy Daniels, I know Donald Trump, and look at his 3 wives, right?
3 wives.
Beautiful women,
what?
Classy women, women of great substance. Stormy Daniels.
Women of great substance? What? And I don't want to be too critical, but I mean, Melania. What is the great substance of Melania, who also posed nude?
Be best.
I'm unclear. Crudy, perhaps you can help me.
She's very pretty, and she keeps her mouth shut.
Great substance.
She's a good plagiarist.
The best. Be best.
One more. In Trump's biography, his first wife was actually something of an intellectual equal. She, in a big part, led some of his projects. He said he never wanted another wife like the first wife. Let's not forget he married the mistress, and I think he got the third one via airmail, Dom.
Yeah, let's look. And for Giuliani, putting his client in a good light. Hey, look at the president's 3 wives. They were all fantastic. Well, what's up with the president?
All 3 of them.
Right.
And that little filly, his daughter, that he wants to sleep with, also a very attractive, classy woman.
Yes.
And I think Giuliani's even made some statements of creepiness about Ivanka.
Giuliani is just creepy. His mannerisms are very strange. When his eyes bug out and his hand curls up, it's just, I'm not clear what's up with that man.
I like when he licks the dentures.
Let's finish up the personal attorney of our president.
Look at his 3 wives, right? Beautiful women, classy women, women of great substance. Stormy Daniels.
The second one was the mistress.
So, I think she
We
gets
have
that.
to respect on this stage every woman.
Yes, I respect porn stars. Don't you respect porn stars?
What? No, I don't think you do. You're saying that she cannot be damaged because of her profession, that she has no reputation, and he specifically said that he doesn't respect. Didn't he say, I don't respect them? What was, play cut 87, if you would please, once again, Brian.
I'm sorry, I don't respect a porn star.
Okay, stop. Now play 89 again, would you please?
Look at his 3 wives, right? Beautiful women, classy women, women of great substance. Stormy Daniels. So, I think she gets
We have
that.
to respect on this stage every woman.
Yes, I respect porn stars. Don't you respect porn stars? I'm sorry, I don't respect a porn star.
What? These are like, what, statements about 3 minutes apart? Perhaps Giuliani respects the male porn stars. Maybe that's what he's really respecting. He doesn't respect the female porn stars. Of course, this is all just slut-shaming, and I'm not clear what his point of this is. What is the end game here for the president's personal attorney to bring up the multiple ex-wives of the president who's apparently paid off at $130,000 hush money for having sex with that very same porn star that the attorney of the president does not respect? Do you respect someone who pays a porn star for sex, Giuliani? Because you're working for him.
Well, do you respect a man that makes these comments about the boss's daughter, Ivanka Trump? Giuliani asked Sean Hannity last night, eyes bugging out of his head. I think I would get on my Charger and go run into their offices with a lance if they go after her, said the 73-year-old. The topic, Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels. If they do Ivanka, which I doubt they will, the whole country will turn on Mueller. They're going after his daughter question. And then later, Jared's a fine man, you know that. And the nearly thrice divorced Giuliani told Hannity. But men are, disposable. A fine woman like Ivanka? Come on. I quote the Vanity Fair. I'm Crudy, that's dumb.
Oh my.
I've seen your porn starness. Come back with us. I might post that on Facebook for everyone. More Devil's Advocates phone lines open, 844-967-2789.
I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
I'm not an expert on the facts yet. I'm getting there.
Hi, I'm Malin Mitchell, and I'm a Democrat running for governor. I've been a Wisconsin firefighter for over 20 years, and as firefighters, we respond to our community on the worst days of their lives. We come together and make sure all hands are working to fight for people who need our help. But I don't see that happening in our state. Our schools have been neglected. Crime is a problem. People are working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet and still can't support their families. We need a governor we can trust, someone who looks out for our community. That's why I'm running, but I can't do this alone. I need you to vote. So remember, on August 14th, let's make history, but let's make it count together. Vote Malin Mitchell for governor.
Paid for by Malin Mitchell for Wisconsin.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
Jeff's Guitar Clinic is a multifaceted shop offering guitars, amplifiers, and all accessories, guitar lessons for all ages, and instrument repair of the highest quality. Jeff'sGuitar.com.
Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Have you got your head in the clouds on how to manage IT for your enterprise? We can make your dreams a reality. With our enterprise cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting, we'll manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Consider Five Nines your personal enterprise IT solution. Enjoy technology. For more information, visit 5nines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
It's a lot easier to measure how many times students use a semicolon correctly in an essay.
Educated educators talking education.
Than it is to measure how many wonderful ideas are in that essay.
Busted Pencils.
There is no teacher shortage.
With Dr. Tim Slecker.
There is a teacher exit.
Featuring Matt Damon's mom.
You want to know what my mom would say?
We've had an intrusion into education.
Busted Pencils Radio. Saturdays at 11 on Resistance Radio.
Women want them. Men want to be them. Tom and Cruz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, also streaming live on the YouTube and Facebook pages. You can hit us up on Twitter at Devil Radio. And always, the party line is open to talk or text. 844-967-2789.
Dominic, I understand we have a caller waiting. Let's start there. Don't want to neglect our audience.
Of course not. Our favorite part of the day when we get to speak with our audience. Pete from Milwaukee, you're up. Thanks for calling. What do you got for us today?
Okay, Dom and Cruz. Basically, I guess it's just a big attempt by Mr. Giuliani to throw Stormy Daniels under the bus as somebody who doesn't really matter because, you know, she's not a upstanding young woman in his eyes. And this is totally against everything that people are trying to get at, is that people like Trump want to use people and then discredit them and then say, see, they're no good anyway, so I can do whatever I want.
Pete, here's the consoling part. Eventually, it's going to happen to Giuliani, too. He's going to get screwed without Vaseline and thrown in the gutter eventually.
Yeah, he probably will. I mean, there isn't anyone that this guy doesn't throw under the bus. So you're probably right about that.
There's only one, Ivanka.
Yeah, well, she might be at the end of the line, but I think that it'll come to her eventually.
Sooner or later.
Skin, it's ridiculous. This woman is up front. She said, I'm a porn star. What else do you want? And who initiated the contact between the two? It was Donald Trump.
Oh, right.
Well,
yes,
I don't think
Donald Trump has had sex with this woman who has no reputation and cannot possibly have any respect, although she was good enough for the president to try and apparently have sex with, and then pay hush money to the tune of $130,000. Why would you pay someone $130,000 if they are not they have no respect?
Hey, Donald Trump only has sex with Playboy models, not porn stars.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll find out about that, too, because there's about 16 of them lined up trying to sue him.
All right. Hey, Pete, thank you so much for the call. You can join us, 844-967-2789. Before we get to the break, I want to also relay this one from CNN, also regarding Giuliani. Of course, Giuliani told an audience in Israel, that's where he was, one of those quotes that we played last segment.
I was wondering where the hell that was.
Yeah, he does not think that First Lady Melania Trump believes the president had an affair with Stormy Daniels. Quote, she believes her husband, and she knows it's untrue. Yeah.
I don't believe that she believes them. I find that I am quite suspicious. And in fact, her absence from the public for, going on 3+ weeks? I mean, I've been in the doghouse once or twice. And what do you know? You find yourself complaining about the fact you can't watch porn in the White House.
Damn, better go to Mar-a-Lago. I can get high-speed internet and all the porn stars I want.
Stormy Daniels, one more Stormy Daniels story very quickly. She released new perfume, or at least it's coming soon, Dom. It's called Truth.
Is it orange?
It is not. It's Chanel-looking. Stormy Daniels, embrace your truth. It's the bomb sensual living limited edition, much like the Scott Walker Devil's Advocates butt plug. Come back with us. More of us on the other side. 844-967-2789. This is the world we live in.
But especially the women made me feel good.
To me, they're not even people.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Believe me, there is no collusion. Believe me.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi, folks. This is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean. Most are pet-friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009. Or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The Devil's Advocates.
My Congresswoman, Gwen Moore.
I think that you guys are filling a very important space. I think African Americans consume radio at a very high rate. And they really rely on radio for information. And so, word of warning to all those candidates out there, don't ignore these inexpensive ways to advertise.
Well, wait until we get our FM. They're going to get more expensive all the time.
Radio for the 99%.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has affirmed the use of TIF districts by municipalities to help revitalize blighted areas. The municipalities can offer grants to developers and fund roads and other infrastructure in the tax incremental financing districts. The money comes from property tax revenue. Conservative law firm Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed a lawsuit in 2015 challenging the use of a TIF district to help fund the new Confluence Arts Center in downtown Eau Claire. And the Brewers lost to the Indians yesterday 3-1. They have today off, then go to Philadelphia for a 3-game series with the Phillies starting tomorrow night. Outside this afternoon, mostly sunny. Then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the low 50s in Milwaukee, upper 50s in Madison. You're listening to Resistance Radio.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, of course, nearly every day there's some porn star update with the Trump administration. I mean, sure, we gladly giggle through these headlines of the day like a couple of juvenile schoolboys.
No. We are serious commentating. We are serious commentators. Crudy, this is the news. We're pulling this stuff off of news sites, MSNBC, The Washington Post, the Raw Story. We're not making this up. We're not coming with this and deciding this is what we have to talk about. Oh, I guess maybe we do. But this is what the news is, man. When you hire a chief executive like Donald Trump, who has a history with porn stars and Playboy bunnies, what do you think's going to happen?
If you're listening to the Devil's Advocates, you know you don't get anything other than #truth. Dom, Jennifer Rubin, fine conservative columnist at the Post. Trump keeps making crackpot accusations, and still the GOP does nothing. And this little article features a picture of Paul Ryan on the front. First, she quotes Politico. Rep. Tom Rooney, a top Republican lawmaker on the House Intelligence Committee, is ripping President Donald Trump's unsupported claim that the FBI inserted a spy inside his campaign. Here's a quote. What is the point of saying that there was a spy in the campaign when there was none? Rooney said in an interview on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's create this thing to tweet about, knowing that it's not true. Maybe it's just to create more chaos, but it doesn't really help the case. Now back to Rubin's writing. Rooney seems to be conceding that the president is acting in bad faith, trying to deliberately create chaos. Rooney's accusation boils down to Trump is lying to obstruct an ongoing investigation into his conduct. House Speaker Paul D. Ryan, Wisconsin, never wanted to take on Trump directly, nevertheless acknowledged on Wednesday that there was no evidence of a planted spy in the Trump campaign, as Trump has repeatedly claimed. This was a repeat of previous discredited Trump accusations designed to undermine the Russia investigation. Meaning, the example is wiretapping Trump headquarters, misleading the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court. Back to Ruben's writing. Someone should ask Ryan a few follow-up questions since he, after all, has been allowing Rep. Devin Nunes, Dominic's buddy, and company to help float one crackpot accusation after another. The Nunes memo propounding on a false accusation that the warrant application to conduct surveillance on Carter Page, the non-scandal about unmasking, and the questions, Dom, I'm struggling already. Why don't you help me out, my friend?
So here are the questions. Why do you allow Nunes to remain on the House Intelligence Committee? Is he carrying out his duties responsibly?
Dom, let's try to answer the questions as we go. Is Devin Nunes, Danny Noonan, has he done a good job on the House Intelligence Committee?
For Donald Trump, yes. Is he doing a fine job for this country? No! No! Absolutely not. And of course, we cannot answer why Paul Ryan continues to leave this man on the committee. Further questions. Why didn't you address the complaints of Senators Richard Burr, a Republican from North Carolina, and Mark Warner, a Democrat from Virginia, who determined that House Republicans leaked Warner's text messages to Washington lobbyist Adam Waldman as part of an effort to reach dossier author Christopher Steele? Wasn't this a shocking breach of trust and abuse of the intelligent oversight process? Why didn't you remove Nunes or report him to the Ethics Committee? Some more questions for Speaker Ryan. Are you concerned that the president repeats myths, asserts them as facts, and uses them as a basis for reckless accusations against the Intelligence community? If a president intentionally engaged in such activity, would that be an abuse of his power?
What do you think, Dom? Is Donald Trump abusing his power?
Well, of course.
And let's call it a dictatorial way.
Hey, perhaps we are far from a dictatorship here in America, Crudy. Let's continue. Ruben asking Speaker Ryan some questions. Have you asked Trump why he engages in this conspiracy mongering? Have you objected in any fashion to this tactic?
Not really.
Have you counseled him to stop this conduct?
I seriously doubt it.
The first article of impeachment for President Richard Nixon listed among his offenses making or causing to be made false or misleading public statements for the purpose of deceiving the people of the United States about the Watergate break-in to claim that no wrongdoing had been found, shades of no collusion. It also included endeavoring to cause prospective defendants and individuals duly tried and convicted to expect favored treatment and consideration in return for their silence or false testimony, and rewarding individuals for their silence or false testimony. If Trump engaged in conduct of either type, should he be impeached? Speaker Ryan Crudy, should he be impeached?
I would say yes, but, I'm just one of those ranting liberals, Dom.
Full of anger and hatred. Under what circumstances would you ever call upon the House Judiciary Committee to consider Trump's possible impeachment?
I cannot see one, not even if he murdered James Comey on Fifth Avenue, Dom. I don't see it happening.
Why didn't the House Intelligence Committee look for collusion, which was supposed to be the focus of its investigation? If the committee members did not do their job, should a select committee or independent commission now be impaneled? The House has not conducted hearings on receipt of foreign emoluments, conflicts of interest, or self-enrichment in the executive branch, nor has it demanded a full accounting from the Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Scott Pruitt for his alleged misuse of taxpayer funds, his government position, and his office staff. Why not? Is the public entitled to conclude that you have no interest in the House's exercise of its oversight responsibilities? When Republicans such as Ryan, Rooney, and Rep. Trey Gowdy have figured out that the president repeatedly spreads falsehoods to throw law enforcement on defense, detract from the FBI's and the Justice Department's credibility, and thereby undermine the Russia investigation, it is long past time to recognize that he is abusing his office and that the GOP House majority is not fulfilling its constitutional obligations. We will not be able to do anything about the former unless we get rid of the latter.
Here, and I thought Trump was only abusing himself at Mar-a-Lago primarily.
Because he can't get porn at the White House.
Some sort of porn-blocked firewall at the White House.
So Jennifer Rubin, right turn opinion piece in the Washington Post, the conservatives, has just been bashing Trump, and now she's bringing that on to the Republicans. Speaker Ryan, I think these are great questions, and they should absolutely be answered. And I'm just wondering, I mean, the silence is truly deafening. It's one thing, and they push back a little. We talked briefly about this yesterday. He seems to slowly be losing those, of talking about Trump, who are, resigning, retiring, not going to run for election again. But what about everybody else? What about the rank and file conservatives out there? What about
your buddy Ron Johnson?
We're gonna have to pull back that sound and see. I don't recall.
Buddy, I hit him
right
between the eyes, and he was all down for the conspiracy theory. He was all down for the tinfoil hat, because obviously the alternative is the president is a liar. He's sowing the seeds of chaos purposefully, and he's obstructing justice. So while Sean Hannity might say it, your buddy Rojo might agree with him, Spygate, worst ever, never. But ultimately, Dom, there's little or no credibility. And I believe the question I asked in part of Ron Johnson is, Ron, at some point, isn't it the Trump campaign's responsibility to vet? They still hired this guy, right? Supposedly, or they had him consulting. But of course, this is just, shiny objectism. And I would say Ron Johnson knows better, man. You can almost see the twinkle in his eye. He's spinning a fishtail. This is a lie. They are complicit in telling this lie. They are throwing as much crap out there for the public, for the media, just to cover, because Donald Trump clearly is obstructing justice. What's Trey Gowdy said a couple times? If your client's innocent, start acting like it. If Donald Trump was acting any more guilty, Dom, I don't know. What's the other end of that
What would he
statement?
be doing? I mean, if Donald Trump
Exactly
is guilty
what he was doing.
and he's freaking out about, this noose slowly tightening, this web of lies falling apart, how would he react, if not how he is acting right now?
Well, he's acting guilty of sin, and whether or not it's the crime of collusion, which I understand is not a crime, perhaps conspiracy, perhaps obstruction of justice, collusion, probably not a crime.
But
he's been cheating on wives. He's been cheating on business partners.
Let's just set this aside. When you meet with Natalia Veselnitskaya and a crew of Russians in Trump Tower about sanctions and dirt on Hillary, that's collusion. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Well, how is that not? Will someone explain to me how that is not collusion?
And then when the president dictates the letter on behalf of the Sun and then has his attorney, Jay Sekulow, and others come out and lie about it, Tom, does that not then become obstruction?
It would seem to be.
No, it's a spy from Obama, right? I mean, come on, Ron Johnson. Come on. Speaker Ryan, come on, Republicans, people of conscience. Conservative listeners to my voice right now, it's time to look in the mirror and say, this is this is a fairy tale they're telling, because the truth is too hard to accept. But the truth is, your president was acting in tandem with foreign agents. Your president, just as much as all the corrupt people he surrounded himself with, your president is dirty up to his eyeballs. And while he may escape prosecution, he may never be indicted due to Article 2 or the Constitution. He will not be able to self-pardon his way through impeachment. He will not be able to survive history's memory of these sad and dark and damning times when Republicans allowed this dictator wannabe, this despot, this corrupt criminal petty mob figure to run the country. And they did nothing to stop it.
And they have the ability to stop it. I mean, that's the case. With the Democrats in Congress, the Republicans have the ability to stand up and say no more.
Well, certainly Paul Ryan, as Speaker of the House, has the right and the ability to flush Devin Nunes to his place in history's toilet. I mean, he's going down with Joe McCarthy. History's not going to be kind to any of these cast of characters, Tom, including the feckless Paul Ryan.
The feckless Paul Ryan. 844-967-2789. Let's get a caller in before we hit the break. Jake from Milwaukee, it's you. Thanks for calling, Jake. What do you got?
Yeah, first of all, well, I want to say to Crute that you almost ran out of adjectives in that last rant, but you kept it going, so that was admirable. Okay, so the reason why the Republicans, this is pretty self-apparent, don't do anything about Trump yet is because they're still trying to pass their agenda of being cruel to other human beings in our nation, be they immigrants, be they poor people, to give our money to the rich people so they can control us. That's why they're dealing with Trump. And it hasn't come to the point yet where they have enough public pressure to push them that way. I mean, heck, even Jeff Flake votes for all of that stuff. So he's just a jerk anyways. So that's why Ron Johnson doesn't do anything, because he wants to be just as cruel and mean and heartless to everyone else because he thinks they deserve it.
Well, Jake, I don't. If I may respond, I don't necessarily disagree, but there's no more laws going to get passed this year, right? I mean, the House is adjourned, the Senate might go back, but what are they going to do? You know, the big stuff has already been passed, and perhaps they're sitting on their hands, you know, letting it all go. And we know that the Republicans primarily work for the moneyed interests. Okay, I get that. But their tax bill's already been signed and implemented, man. So there's nothing more. Now, maybe when Mueller comes out with his report, which will happen probably between now and election season in November, maybe then they'll have the impetus to actually do something. The public pressure will become too high. I don't know what else they could possibly be waiting for, Jake.
Stack the courts with right-wing zealots. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And we're going to see that. Yes, they are. I mean, they got rid of the blue chip. That's gone. Or the blue whatever thing. That's gone now, and they're just going to push it through. So, in the end, I'm going to say this. Last year, Tom, I would agree with you. We're not heading towards a dictatorship. This year, with a bunch of colluding, conspiracy, Trump-loving Republicans, we're getting closer. So, the clock is ticking, and it's just a matter of time before the rest of the United States becomes like Wisconsin, in which, if you've paid attention, has become authoritarian under Scott Walker.
Hey, let me throw a quick quote at you in all of this. In any of this, there has been no evidence that there is any collusion between the Trump campaign, President Trump, and Russia. Ryan said at his weekly news conference, let's make that really clear. There is no evidence of collusion. He's complicit.
The question is, what was the Trump Tower meeting about then? What are you talking about? I mean, this is willful ignorance.
Dominic, my understanding, they're up to 100 indictments. They've cracked it into 3 figures.
Hey,
but,
right.
Nothing's happening from this Mueller investigation. Just 100 indictments and counting. 844-967-2789. Your calls never cumbersome here.
But there's been no collusion, no obstruction, and virtually everybody agrees to that.
No! Yes. A bit.
I'm really proud of what we've been able to do.
Hello, friends. Tom Malanzi here from Teamsters Local 200. Here's a fact. United States Labor Department statistics show union workers receive, on average, 30% more in pay and benefits than non-union workers doing the same job. If you're a worker interested in receiving better wages and benefits and respect at your workplace, give Teamsters Local 200 a call at 414-771-6363 and ask to speak to a Teamsters Local 200 organizer today.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty 608-284-9311 or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Sundays for Meet the Press with Chuck Todd from 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the Jeff Santos Show, kicking ass for the middle class from 12 to 3 p.m. And Citizen Action's Battleground Wisconsin rages from 3 to 4 p.m. Get your groove on with Stu Man PM, politics and music, 4 to 6 p.m. with Stu Daniels. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We've got a patented system. We also do another step that most people don't do. We have a double rotating brush machine that we use when we pre-treat the carpet. So this helps dig up any of that stuff that's deeper in your carpet that the vacuum doesn't get. We're going to provide that intermediary step before we clean with our empowered water.
Call Zero Res today, 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Becky with Bounce Milwaukee, a progressive, local, family-owned entertainment center. We just want to remind you what it's like to be a kid again. Come on in for all ages fun. Bounce in our giant inflatables, race up the rock wall, dominate your friends in laser tag, or just relax in our bar or our massage chairs. Open 6 days a week with extended adult-only weekend hours. Find us at bouncemilwaukee.com.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA, not only in my state, but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show, streaming live on the Facebook, YouTube pages, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and we're on the horn at 844-967-2789. Let's get to some callers before the top of the hour. Mark from the SAC. Welcome, Mark. What do you think?
I think it's pretty amusing. Some of the stuff is pretty amusing as far as Stormy Daniels. She has never backed down from the fact that she's an adult entertainer.
Right.
I mean, she accepts it proudly, and she is proud of her work. So what Rudy Giuliani thinks is irrelevant as far as that goes. I mean, that.
But you know what the newest accusations are is that effectively Stormy's first attorney Davidson colluded with Michael Cohen, that they were on the same team. He not acting as a fiduciary on behalf of Ms. Clifford, Stormy Daniels, and above and beyond that, that perhaps Sean Hannity, who wanted to roll this denial of any affair happening, and then they held it to the next night. Well, I don't know if you saw it last night, Mark, but Sean Hannity telling people to destroy their cell phones, pull the SIM cards, and bleach them. I mean, he's offering specific software. Seems like Hannity might be embroiled in this whole circumstance as well.
Well, that sounds to me like trying to encouraging people to commit a crime because destruction of evidence is a crime. I mean, but especially if you've received a subpoena for anything there. And as far as the attorney thing there, I thought I heard a few months back that there was some suspicion that might have happened because Stormy didn't get a whole lot of money for this whole deal. That he was probably that there's some suspicion on, I can't remember who it was. It said that there may have been a connection between Cohen and her first attorney.
Davidson, yes.
Yeah,
Mark,
Davidson.
for $130,000 to not have sex with Donald Trump's not a bad payday.
Yeah, hell, I didn't have sex with Donald Trump either. I could sure use $130,000. How about you, Mark?
I could use $130,000, but it would take more than that for me to have sex with Donald Trump.
No. To not have sex.
Well, not have sex.
Yeah,
That'd be fine then.
We are not having sex with Donald Trump, and I expect $130,000.
Yeah, but you've already blown it and talked about it.
Damn it.
Well, yeah, you haven't done it, so it just, I don't know. It just seems, Sean Hannity might be up to his eyeballs in this now too, and I wonder how many of the Republicans were actually in on this fix back in the day. How many of them were aware that they were actually dealing with the Russians, the Trump campaign?
All of them.
Yeah, I would agree. All of them, Mark. Thanks for the call. Every single one of them. Come on. Let's remember the NRA. They were getting money. Didn't they get, $30 million from the Russians?
You know where else Sean Hannity's name popped up? John Doe 2 investigation. His emails captured through that. I mean, Hannity, he doesn't mind getting down and dirty on behalf of his candidate, be it Scott Walker, be it Donald Trump, be it propagating a lie. Hell, the man's obstructing justice in his own right on behalf of the future president. If he's, putting Stormy Daniels out with false evidence that he knows is false because he knows what we all know, that Donald Trump, of course, did have sex with that porn star and probably many, many more. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates, 844-967-2789. Turning it back to the Badger State, because around here, we're Wisconsin nice.
Let's start with the pay-to-play and the new revelations.
I find it sexy.
We'll deal with this tomorrow night.
I'm Matt Flynn, candidate for governor. I'm a former chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. I'm a Navy veteran, and I'm running because we once had clean government, clean water, and high wages in this state. And now we have corrupt government, dirty water, and low wages, all as a result of Scott Walker. Walker is a policy mule for a Republican donor cartel. I'm going to beat him and take him out of office. I ask for your vote on August 14 in the primary, authorized and paid for by Forward with Flynn.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Josh Call, the candidate for Wisconsin Attorney General.
Do you think voter ID had a suppressive effect, not on 100 voters, but on thousands of voters and perhaps tipped the election to Donald Trump?
This is an issue that came up at our trial. And first of all, I should thank you guys because we actually introduced into evidence the recording of you interviewing Dale Schultz, who was talking about the passage of the voter ID law. That was one of our pieces of evidence.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling devil's advocates.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
White House invitation. News from Mars. I'm Michael Toscano. The White House may soon have a visitor nobody might have expected until now.
If the summit does go well, will you be inviting North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to the United States?
Well, the answer is yes to the second part of your question, but certainly if it goes well. And I think it would be well received. I think he would look at it very favorably, so I think that could happen.
The White House doing some damage control over this earlier remark about summit preparation.
I think I'm very well prepared. I don't think I have to prepare very much. It's about attitude. It's about willingness to get things done.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo carefully walking that back.
We have been providing the president all the information that he needs, and I am very confident the president will be fully prepared when he meets with his North Korean counterpart.
Signs of life from Mars? Well, there's something in the soil picked up by the Curiosity rover.
Before they got into the meaning of the exciting new findings, NASA astronomer Michelle Thaler said,
"What we're not announcing today is the detection of life."
Which is what we were hoping to hear, but they didn't rule out a biological source either. The first exciting announcement, the discovery of organic molecules. Now, don't let the word organic fool you. Organic molecules can come from non-biological sources. The next step is to begin experiments during which, says NASA's Jennifer Eigenbrod, they'll look at things like the length of the carbon chain in these molecules.
Perhaps, maybe we'll get some hints.
Seasonal variations of methane gas releases were also discovered, another possible link to life. Jim Roop, Los Angeles.
House Speaker Paul Ryan says he's working on a compromise between immigration hardliners and moderate members who are almost able to force their own bill to the floor.
The members who want to see action on this issue were getting exasperated because they didn't see an opportunity to get something to the floor. We now are presenting people with an opportunity to get something to the floor.
This news just coming in. What is described as a Facebook bug has made some private posts public, and by some, I mean as many as 14 million users. Won't be many likes for that. I'm Michael Toscano.
What are you waiting for? It's time to join the union. I'm Andy Buck, field representative with the Painters and Allied Trades District Council 7 of Wisconsin. You're already doing the work. You deserve to make a fair wage. You work hard, but your body isn't going to last forever. Cash feels great in your hand, but having health insurance, a safe workplace, and a secure retirement gives you peace of mind. Join the union and make your job your career. Look us up online, Painters and Allied Trades of Wisconsin. If you're a painter, glazer, drywall finisher, start getting paid like it. Join the union.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only ordering classic corner tavern.
So what is it like to have your life utterly changed in just one instant with the stroke of a presidential pen? Alice Marie Johnson knows, set free from prison, pardoned by President Trump after more than 2 decades behind bars.
The hour before, they printed the paper and it said life. And the outdate said not any. And then an hour later, it said time served. If I tell you that I've got those papers, that is when I broke again. I was so happy. My papers are wet with tears, though.
So it is bittersweet.
I never gave up hope. Now, I can't tell you that every day was a good day. But there was not a day that I could tell you that I was hopeless. I'd pull out my family pictures and start looking at my children, and I had hoped to see my parents again, but they passed away while I was incarcerated.
I'm Michael Toscano.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Hey everybody, I'm Daryl Ingram of News Talk 1510 WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, and I am the Director of Advertising and Marketing. The pride of our independent stands runs deep in all that we do here at the station. The thing that I know for sure is that you can count on the quality and independent production of client advertising, mirroring the quality and independence of our fine programming here at News Talk 1510. To learn more, contact me at 414-335-0851 or via email at daryl@newstalk1510am.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. At a news conference yesterday, Milwaukee Police Chief Alfonso Morales said he didn't see half of the videos from the arrest of Milwaukee Bucks player Sterling Brown in January. Morales told reporters he instead focused on the arrest and tasing of Brown. Video obtained by the Journal Sentinel and others on Monday showed disturbing behavior by Milwaukee police officers. One officer is shown standing on Brown's ankle while he is handcuffed on the ground. Another officer can be heard singing about getting overtime pay. Outside this afternoon, mostly sunny, then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the low 50s in Milwaukee, upper 50s in Madison. Tomorrow, a 50% chance of rain with highs in the upper 60s in Milwaukee, low 70s in Madison. Saturday, cloudy in the morning, sunny in the afternoon, highs in the upper 60s in Milwaukee, mid 70s in the Madison area.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. I'd like to turn it back to Wisconsin, Dominic. And we're going to start this hour with an article from the Associated Press. Our friend Scott Bauer, I believe it's up at the Wheeler Report right now. Taxpayers paid $98,000 for state lawmaker travel since 2015. Madison, the Dateline, Wisconsin taxpayers spent more than $98,000 since 2015 to send members of the Assembly to a host of out-of-state destinations, including President Donald Trump's speech to Congress, House Speaker Paul Ryan swearing in, and a prison tour in Texas.
A prison tour?
Well, you know, that wasn't Scott Walker. He won't even visit the prisons in Wisconsin.
Well, if it was a private prison, perhaps they were just, checking out how it's going to be. Maybe they're looking at their future, living quarters.
The records, I like that thought. The records showing taxpayer-funded costs for out-of-state travel were provided to the Associated Press on Thursday by Assembly Speaker Robin Voss's office. Voss must approve any out-of-state travel for Republicans and Democrats. The records show that taxpayers spent $32,000 in 2015 and 16 and $66,000 since 2017, that's when Trump got elected, right, Dom? On travel to places including the nation's capital, Nashville, Tennessee, New Orleans, Boston, and Canadian cities, including Toronto and Quebec City. Voss and other lawmakers have been under scrutiny lately for their travel, including trips paid for completely by lobbyists and other groups. The records released Thursday cover only trips that were paid for with taxpayer dollars. Well, I don't find that any better, Dom. Since 2015, taxpayers have paid $66,350 for Republican trips and about $32,000 for Democrat trips. Republicans hold a 64 to 35 majority in the Assembly. Republicans have 65% of the seats and accounted for roughly the same percentage, 67%, in travel costs over the past 2 years. Those costs include nearly $1,300 related to Robin Voss and two other Republicans attending Trump's speech to Congress in February of 2017. Well, we were well represented in the room then, Dom. Voss attended House Speaker Paul Ryan's swearing-in ceremony in October of 16 at a cost of nearly $1,100 to taxpayers. It cost taxpayers $1,654 to pay for Voss to attend the July 2017 White House announcement that the Foxconn Technology Group was building a factory in Wisconsin. The cost of Foxconn continues to rise for the taxpayers, Dom.
Right.
I'm going to read on briefly. Voss's travel drew scrutiny from our buddy Scott Ross, director of the Liberal Attack Group, One Wisconsin Now. When did they turn into a Liberal Attack Group? Here's a quote. At the same time, Robin Voss is passing bills to put more burdens for those on public assistance. He's spending thousands of tax dollars to fly all over the country to do things like watch a Trump speech he could have watched on television for free, or watch Paul Ryan be sworn in as Speaker, or attend a Foxconn press event where he didn't speak at nor was even recognized. Just because Trump doesn't recognize you like he does Ron Johnson, that's no reason Robin Voss shouldn't be in the room on the taxpayer dollar, is it, Dom?
Voss defended the trips. Speaker Ryan invited me to his inauguration as Speaker, Voss said. I think that's obviously important for us to be there to support Congressman Ryan. I also think that when they invite you to the State of the Union to represent your state, of course you take them up on that invitation. Voss said it was also important to be there for the Foxconn announcement, a project that could result in a $10 billion investment in the state and the creation of 13,000 jobs. Democrats have criticized it because taxpayers could pay $4.5 billion in incentives for the project. Democratic Rep. David Bowen of Milwaukee attended a briefing at the White House when Barack Obama was president in June of 2015 at a cost of $515. And Rep. David Crowley, a Democrat from Milwaukee, spent $505 in taxpayer money to attend a Congressional Black Caucus meeting in Washington in September of 2017. Most of the Democratic travel was to attend meetings hosted by the National Conference of State Legislatures, a bipartisan group that supports lawmakers and provides them with numerous resources to help draft legislation and track bills across the country. Republicans from Wisconsin also attended those events.
Along with going to England and, to a couple of Trump functions. But I'll allow you to finish this up for us, Don.
I guess I look at it and say I want legislators to work in a bipartisan fashion, Voss said. I want them to get best practices from around the country so they can bring those ideas back here. Whoa, can't they just get those from Alec, Crudy?
Well, couldn't they also, by going on these trips, especially a couple of Democrats, at nearly $500 a trip, Dom?
Whoa.
Well, they cover Robin Voss's ass when he's got plenty of bad headlines for flying around the country, not just on taxpayer dollars, but also the lobbyist dollars, Dom.
Those National Conference of State Legislatures meetings have taken place in Washington, D.C., Seattle, Utah, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Boston, California, and Quebec City. Scott Bauer from the AP found it on the Wheeler Report. So is that an inordinate? Is that a lot of money? I don't think it's
an inordinate amount of money.
There we go. Thank you. Is that a lot of money?
Would you say we have a plethora of pinatas El Guapo?
It doesn't. I mean, I get it. You could have taken a Greyhound, right? You could have driven to Washington, D.C. I mean, hell.
But why must the taxpayers pay? Just because Robin Voss gets invited to a super cool party, let's say, to his perception. I mean, buddy, we were at the inauguration. Taxpayers pay for that trip. How about any lobbyist? No, it came out of our asses, right?
Yes.
I mean, we flew Southwest, still had better seats than Scott Fitzgerald did.
Got stuck in the middle seat.
Yeah, apparently nobody likes that guy.
Well, the short guys, we usually get the middle seat.
Yeah, well, anyways, deserving in both cases. But here's my point, Tom. Why should we as taxpayers ever be responsible for this sort of pomp and circumstance expense? Why should we pay the Speaker of the Assembly in Wisconsin, we the taxpayers? Why should we pay for him to be at a Trump speech or at a Foxconn announcement? Why shouldn't he pay? Or perhaps his political campaign, or, the boys and girls down at WMC, because they pay for damn near everything else the Republican Party does in this state.
Nice. I don't disagree, and maybe we should have that across the board. I assume you would think that Bowen and Crowley should not have theirs paid for either then.
Probably if I was being intellectually consistent, but I've got less problem with them.
Well, but that's the point, though. Is that our responsibility?
But I would say
apparently it is. And I think the greater issue is it goes to the sensibility or lack of fiscal discipline, because it's real easy to pull out $1,600 How much was it? $1,600 to go see Trump? $1,654 for Voss to attend the July 2017 announcement of Foxconn. So, I mean, plus, right? So $1,654 to go do a Foxconn announcement.
Does he get to claim per diem as well?
Probably. Why wouldn't he?
I don't think he was in Dane County doing the state's business. But
Wasn't that
the
the state's business?
No, I don't.
Then why is the state paying for it? I mean, that's the greater overarching philosophical conversation here.
Or why is he?
Because I doubt that he would go making $50,000 a year into his pocket.
Oh, he owns a popcorn factory using prison labor, Dom.
Whatever,
He's doing
man.
just fine.
Either way, none of it's coming out of his ass.
Do you know how much
it
margin
doesn't come out of his pocket? It's real easy for politicians to spend other people's money.
But do you know what kind of margins you can make on prison labor, Dom?
Huge
I mean, them
labor.
some good margins. We are the devil's advocates. I understand these are insignificant expenses, but $1,100 to go to D.C. I mean,
$1,600.
I know. Well, that was for him and 3 lawmakers, if I read the article correctly. But I think he had one travel
junket. That was just him.
The Paul Ryan, Speaker Ryan inauguration. Didn't he spend like $1,100 on that trip?
$1,100 for Speaker Ryan, $1,654 for the Foxconn. That was just him. It doesn't say there's multiples. And if you book something late, that's how it goes. But hell, it's not my money.
Buddy, you can fly Southwest to D.C. You can be there in 90 minutes on a direct flight for like $250 round trip. What, do you go first class?
Only the best for the Speaker
You bring
of the
the
Assembly.
missus and the carry-on luggage? Had to pay extra for the luggage? Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates on the other side. Want to hear from you as well. 844-967-2789. And perhaps Foxconn is where we should pivot to next.
I don't have a lot of expertise.
Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
I don't even know my own website address.
Where's the money? Ah! Ah! Yeah, you like that? That feel good? That feel good?
J.D. Davis Funeral Home, located at 4803 West Burleigh Street, is dedicated, dignified, and distinguished in serving you in your time of need. Direct cremation specials starting at a very low cost of $595. That does not include cremation permit or crematory fee. Traditional funeral packages starting at $1,995 with a 20-gauge metal casket included. Title 19, Milwaukee County General Assistance accepted. Call today, 414-444-8300.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Live via phone, he is former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel.
Firing Bob Mueller doesn't mean that the prosecution, the investigation goes away. Pardoning one individual does not mean that you undo everything that has been done before. So this notion that somehow by shutting down and by pardoning and by sort of stopping the process, you're also stopping the wheels of justice is simply, again, it's simply wrong.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 a.m. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Hi, Resistance Radio listeners. This is Kim Schrader, the president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. We are the 4,600 educators who make Milwaukee's public education system possible. MTA members are the guardians of public education because every single day we are fighting to strengthen and protect public schools our students deserve. MTA educators are leading the fight in Milwaukee public schools for smaller class sizes, more recess, physical education, art, and music opportunities for every child in MPS. MTA educators are the champions for healthier school meals, positive discipline practices, equitable schools, and schools that partner with parents. MTA members are the guardians of public education, and we are proud to teach all children, regardless of their zip code. To learn more, follow us on Facebook at the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, I work hard to be a leader in my industry, and I know the challenges posed by changing technology. It's my priority to make sure your network is up over 99% of the time. There's no question, trying to manage your own business IT is risky, costly, and time-consuming. Don't let IT overwhelm you. Learn more about Five Nines at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Jeff's Guitar Clinic is a multifaceted shop offering guitars, amplifiers, and all accessories, guitar lessons for all ages, and instrument repair of the highest quality. Jeff'sGuitar.com.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
When they go low, we get high. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Remember, we always stream live on the Facebook and YouTube pages. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio. And always on the phone, talk or text 844-967-2789.
Dominic, we will be joined live in studio tomorrow by a fine Dem gubernatorial candidate, Malin Mitchell. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the field and the debate. I understand they're talking about expanding the debate as well, but Dom, we got fair callers all around the country, like our friend Lonnie. Lonnie still holding? Let's get him on the air.
Hey, Lonnie, welcome.
Role of me playing. Well, I have
Lonnie. We'll try that again. Lonnie, are you there?
Hey, how you doing?
Come on, man.
What was that, Lonnie?
Oh, we're having a production meeting outside. We're in agreement with some things, but you know how it is when artists get together. Oh, damn, mostly over on the other end. But no, I was calling to get in on my conspiracy theory today about why they are messing with the taxpayers' money. And yeah, I like the storyboard how they are messing with the taxpayers' money because they're hiding all the money that they're hiding in the defense that they're distributing amongst each other so that whenever they all get out of office, they can all move to Russia and live like oligarchs.
Yeah. You think they're hiding that much money, Lonnie?
Oh, think about it, man. Right now with businesses, they're having people work and no longer paying overtime, which is why there's a rise in, some people just need to make money. If you're making $12 an hour and they ain't paying overtime, hey, you got to still put food on your table. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the system.
Right on, man. Appreciate the call, Lonnie. As always, 844-967-2789.
I feel like Lonnie was a little distracted today. Like he had lots of stuff going on. I mean, I know that feeling. We get that way as well sometimes, Dom. But wanted to get back to this Wisconsin-based story, the Foxconn, emphasis on the con story. Well, Dom, Governor Scott Walker, I hear him trumpeting the fact that we are going to accept federal dollars. He must be expanding Medicaid.
No, not those federal dollars.
No, not those federal dollars. He's taking some additional highway funds. Dominic, I forget the precise calculation, but it's a big number, like $180 million, $160 million.
Mark Sommerhauser, Matthew DeFore, Wisconsin State Journal. The headline, state gets $160 million from the feds or, as they put in their title here, $86 million less than sought to upgrade I-94 near the Foxconn site.
Well, Dom, how's Scott Walker going to fill the deficit? I mean, bragging about it's not going to fill an $80-something million deficit. You know he's got the taxpayers on the hook for this, right? So now we're up to $4.6 billion that we, the taxpayers, have paid for Foxconn. And don't forget to put the $1,100 in Robin Voss's travel vouchers on the tab as well.
No. The $1,100 was for Speaker Ryan. It was $1,654 for the Foxconn.
Well, we're up to almost $4.7 billion then. You know, slight rounding error, but you get the point, Dom. It keeps getting worse and worse. And quite frankly, I mean, it seemed unrealistic at the point of seeking this money from the federal government. You know, what a turn of tide that is on behalf of Scott Walker, although clearly we as a state, and I don't know if many of our conservative friends know this, Dom, about a third of our state budget propped up with federal tax dollars. It's a secret. Don't tell them.
Federal tax dollars? What? We can't trust the federal government. Hell, don't they have $17 trillion? No, let's remember, when Governor Walker declined the Medicaid money, we were like $17 or $18 trillion in debt. Can't take it, can't take it.
How deeply in debt were we when he declined the high-speed rail money or the broadband expansion money?
Can't take it, can't take it. Can't trust that federal government, except we do, to the tune of what, 30%-ish of our state budget?
Of our entire $76 billion state budget, and above and beyond that, Dom, we still take tons of Medicaid money, and clearly we're still accepting the highway dollars, only in this case, Dom, Scott Walker is bragging about the big victory, but he's got a new $86 million deficit to throw on the taxpayers' tab to Foxconn.
Craig Thompson, director of the Transportation Development Association of Wisconsin, which advocates for funding for roads, bridges, and transit, is quoted in this article. We are interested in where the other $80+ million is going to come from and what it otherwise could have been used for.
Well, thank goodness Scott Walker gave us all $100, right?
Per kid.
Because that was like $122 million that he could have used to solve the inevitable rainy day circumstance, which is always on the horizon. $86 million seems like a lot of money, Dom. It's one day in the life of the state government. Wisconsin spends $76 billion over each biennium budget, and let's not forget about a third of that coming from the federal tax dollars. More devil's advocates on the other side. We are quite socialist with those federal tax dollars.
Yeah.
Walker, he's the governor, taking a third of his budget in federal tax dollars. 844-967-2789. I think I made the point.
I love being governor. I'm Jesse Pika-Holz with Solidarity Realty. If you're looking for a home in Madison or Dane County, call me. I know Madison. I know homes. I'll protect your best interests. Call Solidarity Realty at 608-284-9311 or search solidarityrealty.com.
Open road, here comes the Heffley family.
You've packed the smartphones, headphones, tablets, water snacks, cooler, sunscreen, bikes, skateboards, games, videos, sunglasses.
There's no room for people in here.
Just don't wimp out on the most important thing.
Deep fried butter on a
stick. No, seatbelts. Whether it's a long haul or short trip,
It's a win-win situation.
never give up until they buckle up. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Well, you are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Ooh, I just felt a trickle down. No, I don't recall doing it.
Hello, friends. Tom Alonzi from Teamsters Local 200. Local 200 has union members from up north in Fond du Lac all the way down to the Illinois state line, from the shores of Lake Michigan out to Waukesha. Here's a fact. Teamster union members negotiate living wages and affordable health care benefits where they work with their union representative. If you're a worker interested in receiving better wages and benefits and respect at your workplace, give Teamsters Local 200 a call at 414-771-6363 and ask to speak to a Teamsters Local 200 organizer today.
On marijuana, unfortunately, as a public health issue and a public safety issue, I've opposed that.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, how can medical marijuana help those addicted to opioids?
There's three big things. There's clear consensus now that cannabis can treat pain. That is not an opinion. That is a consensus conclusion by big scientific bodies like the National Academy of Science. We also know that it can help treat the withdrawal symptoms of opioids. People, they don't want to be on them anymore. They want to quit, but they develop the terrible withdrawal symptoms. And now we have evidence that it can actually help heal the part of the brain that is diseased in someone who's an opioid addict. If you had to start from scratch and design a substance to help lead us out of the opioid epidemic, like in a lab, it would probably look very much like cannabis.
Call Governor Scott Walker at 608-266-1212. Tell him good people do smoke marijuana. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
I gotta tell you, so when I first moved to Green Bay to play football in '92, I had never been to Wisconsin. But the funniest thing I thought, you could not buy hamburger patties without a dollop of butter on them.
Folks, just so you know, if you take a little bit of herb butter and put it in the middle of a patty and just kind of mold it around there, you get magic.
I have one in my arteries right now.
How much did you say you weighed?
I'm gaining weight with my thoughts right now.
You're $3 and some change already, brother.
Guns Butter Economics, 414 Wisconsin, weekdays 2 to 3 p.m. on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. House Speaker Paul Ryan said yesterday that he agrees with House Oversight and Reform Chairman Trey Gowdy that there is no evidence that the Department of Justice improperly spied on Donald Trump's presidential campaign. The Justice Department has now offered lawmakers a third classified briefing next week in an effort to set the record straight. In addition to Ryan and Gowdy, Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Richard Burr also said he has seen no evidence that the Trump campaign was spied on. The three Republicans are at odds with Donald Trump, who says the DOJ planted a spy in his campaign to help Hillary Clinton win the election. Outside this afternoon, mostly sunny, then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the low 50s in Milwaukee, upper 50s in Madison. You're listening to Resistance Radio.
The Devil's Advocates, so relevant they have one foot in tomorrow.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Dominic, there's some breaking news out of the state of Wisconsin. Scott Walker, still a big fat liar.
Why now?
You remember his original big goal, the big promise he made once upon a time, Dom, to create 250,000 private sector jobs.
I remember, Crudy, and I know you remember, but I'm not clear our audience remembers. Perhaps Brian can help us out on this one. Let's remind everybody.
The 250,000 is my floor, not my ceiling. I think it's at least 250,000 jobs.
We're going to do well with the voters because what I hear overwhelmingly is they want help with jobs.
250,000 is a minimum. It's just the base.
I was elected last year largely because I have a plan, a specific detailed plan to help the private sector of our state create 250,000 jobs.
Well, the only campaign I'm focused in on is to create 250,000 jobs here in the state. And I think as long as I stay focused on that, as long as we try to bring, at least in the legislature, Republicans and Democrats together to help the people of the state create more jobs, I think we're going to be fine.
I'll be judged in my state, and I suppose ultimately by anybody else, by how effective I am at helping the people of our state create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
I think the Princess Bride lady, I think she's accurate, Tom. Walker misses goal of 250,000 new private sector jobs in first 7 years in office. Buddy, he was making this promise for a 4-year term. John Schmidt, Craig Gilbert, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel Online. In his first 7 years in office, Governor Scott Walker presided over an increase of 213,000 private sector jobs in Wisconsin, short of the 250,000 new jobs the Republican promised in his first 4 years. Now, we would need 37,000 new jobs created this year, Dom, to hit the 250,000 mark threshold that Walker promised. We have not hit that number, to the best of my memory, in any 12-month span since Governor Scott Walker has been the governor. So we're probably not going to get there this year either. But back to the Craig Gilbert piece. Walker's up for re-election. Oh, is he? In 2018, and job growth is expected to be a central issue, as it was in previous races. Wisconsin's inability to add jobs as quickly as Walker predicted. I thought it was a promise.
It was a plan. It was a goal. It was a big goal.
To add jobs as quickly as Walker predicted as a candidate in 2010 general election didn't stop him from winning an unusual 2012 recall election. Walker also won re-election to a full second term in 2014. The figures released today are from the quarterly Census of Employment and Wages. That's the gold standard, Dom. Or at least it used to be, and then Scott Walker kind of changed it back and forth.
It depends on what the report says.
Depending on what he needed to cherry pick, I'll go back to reading. The quarterly census data are considered the gold standard of employment numbers, unlike monthly job numbers, which are extrapolated from a survey with sparse sample sizes. The quarterly census data count jobs at nearly every employer. I understand it's like a 96% survey. But back to Wisconsin, Dom. How have we, stacked up? Let's put it that way.
Comparing the census job count in the final quarter of 2010, immediately before Walker took office in January of 2011, through the final quarter of 2017, which is the latest available quarterly census data, the number of private sector jobs increased by 213,426 to 2.48 million, an increase of 9.4%.
Doesn't seem half bad, Dom. Unless you compare it with other states.
Wisconsin lagged the nation in the pace of job creation in the 7-year period, when the nation added private sector jobs at a 15.2% rate.
Wow, that seems quite rapid compared to like 9%, Dom. What about that conservative dividend?
Wisconsin ranks 34th out of 50 states in the percentage increase at the 9.4% of total private sector employment from the end of 2010 to the end of 2017. When he was a candidate for governor in 2010, he promised that if he was elected, the state would add 250,000 private sector jobs in 4 years. Like the rest of the nation, the state's economy has added jobs since 2010, the low point of the last recession when the state's unemployment index peaked at 9.3%. Wisconsin's unemployment rate, which is calculated under a separate monthly survey, dropped in April to a record low of 2.8%.
Now, I would point out, who is the prior governor? I'm forgetting. Jim Doyle. His last year in office, Wisconsin was 11th in the nation in private sector job growth. We were charging right along, something like 35,000 jobs created that year, Dom. And then Scott Walker dropped Act 10, dropped a bomb on public sector unions, created divisiveness all across the state of Wisconsin. And I, don't want to relitigate the recall or the election of 2014. But ultimately, Dom, Scott Walker has never truly been held accountable for his big frickin' lie.
Well, being held accountable meaning he wouldn't win election? I mean, I don't know. Was it we've been pounding on this since day one. I mean, in that collage that we play, he talks about his very specific detailed plan. It's literally, if you break down the graphics out of it, it's one sheet of paper, 2 sides with about 5 or 6 points. Cutting red tape, that kind of thing. Rolling back regulation. It was not a specific job. It was a total hack job. And he obviously did not meet that goal. But he's been elected since then. So I agree. I don't think people have held him to that standard, because if someone makes a big promise like that and can't do it in 7, probably won't do it in 8 years, Well, if that's your big goal, if that's your campaign promise, if that's what you hang your hat on, well, you're missing it by 100%. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I'm just wondering why people don't hold him accountable for that.
Well, Dominic, perhaps it was, he kept telling us, I'm here, I'm with you, Wisconsin. But let's not forget, since his last re-election in the state of Wisconsin, the man went out and ran a failed presidential campaign, and his approval ratings have never fully recovered from that selfish act of blind optimism. I mean, God called him, right?
And then God called him and told him to hang it up.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. You can always join us on the horn, on the phones, on the text at 844-967-2789. Does this question even have validity anymore? Does anybody care that Scott Walker is a big fat liar, makes promises he can't keep, and then, just shifts the goalpost?
I think people do care. I mean, look, the good news is, and this is good news, the economy is doing fairly well. Now we have some stagnation in wage growth. A lot of people working too many jobs. Health care is expensive because of what the Republicans have done. There's lots of things that we can push back, and I would contend that perhaps we're getting to be on a bubble. We got student loan debt of $1.5 trillion. We have some major issues in this country, and all it takes is some terrible act by this president or another bank imploding as we roll back protections that were put in on these national and international banks after the last Great Recession. So the next downturn, we are in a cyclical economy, and no matter what you think, presumably one's going to come at some point, and hopefully we can ride it out. But is there anything about the current governance of Scott Walker or Donald Trump that would imply to you that they're taking any steps to soften the next recession, Dom? I mean, Scott Walker and Donald Trump are signing we, the taxpayers of Wisconsin, up for what's approaching now $4.6 billion for Foxconn. An investment that we may not break even ever on, but even in the rosiest of estimates would take 25 years, Dom. Well, that's going to basically hamstring the state of Wisconsin. This will be our albatross to bear, unless it's killed in the courts or through, act of election, quite frankly. This Foxconn, Dom, this will cripple us when it comes time as a state to borrow, because we are in some sort of national recession. Now, the country may be fine, although I suspect that Donald Trump is undermining the full faith and credit of the United States. And if he's not, Mnuchin certainly is. But the state of Wisconsin, man, we're not going to have a good position as a state to take up the slack should we see a national recession, which of course will affect Wisconsin like all other states. Jim Doyle's next recession. Well, no, not when we put all our eggs in one basket, and any financial advisor will tell you, diversify. Do not put all your eggs in one basket, especially in an industry making these screens that is very fluid and rapidly changing with lots of competitors and technological innovation. Again, look back 20 years ago at your monitors, and you're going to predict for me what monitors and screens are going to look like 20 years from now, which is 5 years earlier than we even break even using today's dollars at the old metric of $3 billion. So no, it's very distressing. It's very concerning. And we, the governor and the Republicans in the state of Wisconsin are putting us in a very tenuous situation for when that downturn does eventually come.
That's okay, Dom. He's got a guaranteed wage, at least if he wins re-election, $12,000 a month. I mean, hell, he's out running for president. He's running a presidential campaign out of the governor's mansion. The kid gets to use the state van as free transport for moving buddies, sort of his own personal U-Haul-style Uber thing going on. I mean, life's pretty sweet for the governor. Well, that assumes he wins re-election, Dom. But I'd like to think that you and I can perhaps bring and shine a big bright light on the bad governance of Scott Walker and those embracing Republicans that would forgive him his original sin, his original lie, that bold promise that he's never met to create 250,000 private sector jobs in the state of Wisconsin. He will not get there in 8 years. We will never get there. A payback on Foxconn. More devils on the other side. 844-967-2789.
Our economy's on fire.
We are moving Wisconsin forward.
No, I'm going to stay for a while. How about that?
Hi, I'm Malin Mitchell, and I'm a Democrat running for governor. I've been a Wisconsin firefighter for over 20 years, and as firefighters, we respond to our community on the worst days of their lives. We come together and make sure all hands are working to fight for people who need our help. But I don't see that happening in our state. Our schools have been neglected. Crime is a problem. People are working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet and still can't support their families. We need a governor we can trust, someone who looks out for our community. That's why I'm running, but I can't do this alone. I need you to vote. So remember, on August 14th, let's make history, but let's make it count together. Vote Malin Mitchell for governor.
Paid for by Malin Mitchell for Wisconsin.
Driving means
freedom,
exploration,
fun,
pride,
flexibility,
travel,
protection,
ability,
friendship,
excitement,
escape,
independence.
Distracted driving means
danger,
recklessness,
irresponsible,
chaos, police,
devastation,
injury,
tears, death.
Safe driving means staying alert and staying alive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
I'm State Representative Jocasta Zamaripa.
And I'm Joel Clayfish.
Listen to us on the Joel and Jocasta Show, Saturdays at 3 p.m.
She's a Latina woman from the inner city of Milwaukee, and I'm a white guy from the suburbs. Diversity in the white guy. You are not going to believe what you hear on this show. I'm telling you, you're going to have to listen. News Talk, 1510 a.m., WRRD.
Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values, building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
They'll challenge your authority because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
The Devil's Advocates, making radio great again.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Also streaming YouTube, Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, on the party line to talk or text 844-967-2789.
Dominic, I want to stay with the politics here in the state of Wisconsin. Of course, Scott Walker, the target, 10 fine candidates vying to beat him. At least 5 or 6 of them are fine candidates at this point. But the WBA, the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, sort of stirred the hornet's nest earlier this week. They announced there would only be 4 candidates, count them 1, 2, 3, 4, that would make it onto the probably only televised debate stage for the Dem gubernatorial primary. And that little event was to happen July 27th. And there were 2 criterion, $250,000 fundraised, and you must be in the top 4 in the last final Marquette University Law School poll. And everybody who's not in the top 4 or doesn't have $250,000 raised or just takes exception to the arbitrariness of the criterion has pushed back against this. And it seems as if the WBA might have a change in mind. So reports Theo Keith, our friend over at Fox 6 WITI Milwaukee. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, I am a member of that fine group, Tom, is reconsidering its decision to limit an upcoming Democratic gubernatorial debate to just 4 of the 10 candidates after some contenders threatened to boycott the event. The quote from the WBA via Twitter, Dom, the WBA Foundation has heard the concerns raised about the primary debates planned for July and is considering its options. Expect a statement in the coming days.
Maybe.
Earlier this week, the WBA announced that it would only invite the top 4 finishers from the Marquette University Law School poll and those who raised $250,000. Republican Governor Scott Walker awaits the winner of an August 14th Democratic primary. But why does he get to make a comment on this? I'm going to jump down to the end of the article. Might jump around here a bit. First, a quote from the Democratic Party of Wisconsin chairwoman, Martha Lanning. It's quite possible that our nominee would not be included in that 4-candidate pool, and that would be a real shame, said Martha Lanning, our friend. Now, another guy who I'm less friendly with, Scott Walker, is quoted here by WITI Fox 6. Why does he get an opinion? I mean, I know they're vying to compete against him, but here's what Scott Walker said. It is nearly an identical quote. You could have people on the podium who might not be the actual winner, Walker said in an interview. I just think that's wrong. Effectively the same quote from Martha Lanning and Scotty Wanker, your boy. But back up at the body.
Let me jump up here. A growing number, again, back to the body of the piece, a growing number of groups pushed back against the WBA's criteria. And Marquette poll director, our buddy Charles Franklin, said his results should not be used this way, citing the margin of error in all polls. Some Democratic candidates refuse to commit to participating in the July 27th debate if the criteria isn't changed. Mike would boycott, said Christine Welker, campaign spokeswoman for candidate Mike McCabe. The idea that a candidate's viability and strength lies in his or her bank account directly contradicts the principles on which we stand. Former State Rep. Kelda Roys and Madison Mayor Paul Soglin haven't committed to participating. In an open letter to the WBA, Roys said the debate invitations were being selected by fiat. Yet other Democrats, including businessman Andy Gronick, said they do plan to participate if they are among the top 4 candidates. I expect to be there, and I would hope that the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association would recognize their responsibility to involve everybody in the process. The debate issue looms large in a tightly bunched race with no clear frontrunner. The event will give candidates an opportunity to make their case to a statewide television audience. Let's get to the phones, 844-967-2789. Wisco Paul, you're up. Thanks for calling, man. What do you got?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Devils, as always. It's great to be able to voice my opinion. Hey, Crudy, I recently retired, by the way, but I still work part-time. There's one thing, though, I never thought I'd be an insider, but can I say left is right?
left is right. If by saying that, Paul, you imply that those of us that are adamantly in the populist left column are correct and right, then I completely agree with you, sir.
Thank you. Hey, Scott Hole can't get reelected. Yesterday when I was talking to you guys, I was driving down a road. It was so rough. Maybe driving in a ditch would have been better. The state's trying to repair these roads, and they can't be repaired. They need new asphalt. And the road I was on yesterday, 60 means 30. So if for no other reason, Scott Hole has to go, because I don't know. Crudy, does anybody have any idea what it would cost to fix the roads if we started today in this state?
Oh, man, we're billions behind Wisco. I mean, and it's above and beyond the roads. It's the bridges. It's a lot of infrastructure that has been neglected. First, I would say in part because of, the big national recession. But subsequent to that, because Scott Walker's been angling to run for president since he was, a young tenderfoot seeking his Eagle Scout badge, which he thought was one step along his way to seeking the presidency, which he's been seeking blindly with his ambition since he was just a wee boy. But ultimately, I think we're way over probably $5 billion, Paul. I mean, the number is quite large. When I was a brief candidate in the Democratic gubernatorial field, I called for the greatest increase in the gas tax. I mean, I think we've got some dramatic action that needs to be taken. Now, I saw most of the candidates sort of settled in between 3 and 5 cents per gallon as an increase in the gas tax. I advocated for something closer to 8 cents per gallon, which would take us up to 40.9 cents per gallon, all taxes inclusive. But we're going to need that sort of new generated revenue as a state if we are going to not just invest, but also probably, I hate to say it, but bond more, borrow more, because these roads are so bad, there's no way we're getting, we're not going to get fixed in 2 to 4 years. It is a much bigger, much greater problem. I mean, hell, Scott Walker has completely neglected them for 7. We had a national recession the 4 years prior to that. It's been 10 years or more since our roads have been addressed properly. Folks, more devil's advocates on the other side. Your calls welcome. 844-967-2789.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Wanker. Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison, resisting dirty carpets and harsh chemicals. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We're not using any soaps. We're not using any chemicals. We cost about the same as the other guys. You look at it and you go, where's the downside? You got a completely green clean. That's awesome. We guarantee it. There's no downside.
There's no downside. Use Zero Res. Call Zero Res today. 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Becky from Bounce Milwaukee, and I want to be the first to invite you to our newest attraction, axe throwing at Fling Milwaukee. Bring your friends, date, co-workers, or family to experience the rush of throwing axes at Milwaukee's first indoor throwing arena. Open 6 days a week for corporate team building, bachelor and bachelorette parties, date night, or just a fun night out. More information at flingmilwaukee.com or 414-312-4357.
Wisconsin's doing terribly. The roads are a disaster because they don't have any money to rebuild them. They're borrowing money like crazy. They projected a $1 billion surplus, and it turns out to be a deficit of $2.2 billion. The schools are a disaster. The hospitals and education is a disaster. And when I see Scott Walker with his little motorcycle and puts his helmet on, and he gets off and he makes a speech. But, he's always riding like, he gets off a bike like he's a big tough guy. Okay, or a little tough guy. Their lobbyists, their special interests, and their donors will start calling. They gave you $1 million to your campaign, and this one gave you $5 million, and this one, you have to do it. You know what he's going to say? Okay, I'll do it.
Mr. Trump, you're using the talking points of the Democrats, and as we all know,
I'm using facts.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org. You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Facebook privacy bug, Summit hopes. I'm Barbara Cusack. Millions of Facebook users fell victim to a software bug that led to new private posts going public.
The social media company says as many as 14 million users had posted items only friends should have been able to see, but instead were posted in a way that allowed all Facebook users to view them. The instances happened over several days last month, and the company says the problem has been fixed. A bug had automatically suggested that users make new posts public, even if they had previously restricted to friends only or another private setting. I'm John Stolness.
After meeting with Japan's Prime Minister, President Trump said Shinzo Abe was extremely helpful with North Korea negotiations a week before Trump's summit with Kim Jong-un. In regard to the June 12th summit, Trump said,
I am totally prepared to walk. It could happen. Maybe it won't be necessary. I hope it won't be necessary to walk, because I really believe that Kim Jong-un wants to do something that is going to be great for his people and also great for his family and great for himself.
Trump added if things go well, he'll invite Kim to visit the U.S. The U.S. cut a deal with Chinese telecom giant ZTE that may clear the way for trade talks with China. Correspondent Christine Roman says it includes penalties to punish ZTE for cheating on international agreements.
ZTE violated U.S. sanctions, selling its products to Iran and North Korea. It was caught, fined, and then the company lied about punishing the violators. On top of that, national security experts in the U.S. and Britain have warned ZTE phones are a national security threat. ZTE's majority shareholder is a Chinese state-run company.
Increased home prices boosted U.S. household net worth 1% in the January-March quarter to crack $100 trillion for the first time. The Washington Capitals one win away from capturing the Stanley Cup and can skate away with it tonight with a win over the Golden Knights in Las Vegas. I'm Barbara Cusack.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, it's my job to make sure your network is up 99.999% of the time. Technology is constantly evolving, and keeping your business up to date in an ever-changing environment can be a hassle. At Five Nines, we're here to help. Five Nines is more than just our name. It's the level of service you can expect. Better IT gives your business a competitive advantage. Learn how Five Nines can help at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Welcome back. A good friend of ours, a fine sponsor. He's Lenny Mattioli. He's Crazy E-Bike Lenny, and he's always selling e-bikes. Lenny, welcome back to the show, man. I got to tell you, I've been missing your ads on the radio. What happened, Len?
Any potential advertisers that were considering using Devil's Advocate, listen to this. We ran an ad 10 days. We sold every one. Every single one.
The Devil's Advocates.
Merchandising!
Every single one.
6 children burned in a Guatemala volcano eruption being treated in Texas.
Doctors at Shriners Hospital in Galveston say all 6 children are burned on 15% or more of their bodies. Dr. Stephen Wolf says staff at Shriners will be working to rehabilitate the children physically and mentally.
Post-traumatic growth has become something that we've become focused on. So how do we take a tragic event like this and turn it to the benefit to these children who get a lot of personal interaction with a lot of professionals?
Wolf says if any more children burned in the volcano need similar treatment, they could be sent to Shriners hospitals in Cincinnati or Boston. I'm Clayton Neville.
The Philadelphia 76ers say Brian Colangelo resigned as president of basketball operations. The move follows an independent firm's investigation of allegations that he used Twitter accounts to anonymously trash some of his own players and fellow executives. I'm Barbara Cusack.
I'm Jesse Picaholes with Solidarity Realty. If you're looking for a home in Madison or Dane County, call me. I know Madison. I know homes. I'll protect your best interests. Call Solidarity Realty at 608-284-9311 or search solidarityrealty.com.
In the wake of a disaster, what one thing can you send that will help people the most? A blanket, a tent, a sandbag, a doctor. Actually, if you send a monetary donation, you send all these things. Even a small donation can make a big impact and can quickly become exactly what people affected by disaster need most.
In the wake of a hurricane, your monetary donation can make a huge difference to those in need. To donate, visit supporthurricanerelief.org. That's supporthurricanerelief.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Wisconsin will get $86 million less than requested from federal funding to make upgrades to Interstate 94 near the Foxconn factory. The state had requested $246 million to expand the highway for the Taiwanese company's factory. And while Wisconsin will receive $160 million for the project, it is not yet known from where the rest of the money will come. Assembly Minority Leader Gordon Hintz said, quote, only Governor Walker could tout an $86 million shortfall as a victory. Outside this afternoon, mostly sunny, then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the low 50s in Milwaukee, upper 50s in Madison. Tomorrow, a 50% chance of rain with highs in the upper 60s in Milwaukee, low 70s in Madison. You're listening to Resistance Radio.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we're sliding into the 5 o'clock happy hour, and I am happy today to report, once again, I have been vindicated. I am completely right.
What are you right about this time, Michael?
Well, Dominic, there's some breaking news at thehill.com, and we talked about this topic earlier in the show. Rudy Giuliani giving a pay-to-play speech in Israel. I mean, I don't know if that's objectionable to anyone else, but I believe, either a Vice News or a John Oliver episode, I'm fairly confident it was on the HBO, that said those speeches historically paid $30,000 and up.
Nice. Can I get one of those?
So I'm not saying it's Hillary at Goldman, but I'm just saying he's getting paid substantially.
He's already getting... Listen, he's not in the administration, as we talked about. He's a private attorney for the president. He can go get paid however he wants, right?
And then give sound in which he represents to know that Melania trusts her husband, as any good wife would, Dom. But there's some countering evidence that Crudy was right the whole time.
Well, let me just grab the specific quote here. Again, this is from CNN, and as Crudy mentioned, he told an audience in Israel he does not think the First Lady Melania Trump believes President Donald Trump had an affair with Stormy Daniels. Here's the quote. She believes her husband, and she knows it's untrue.
Well, Dom, I'd like to get back to the Wisconsin politics, but first, this breaking news at the Hill. A spokesperson for Melania Trump on Thursday said the First Lady has had no discussions with Rudy Giuliani in response to questions about his remarks that she believes her husband did not have an affair with an adult film star, Stormy Daniels. And here's a quote from Stephanie Grisham, Dom. I don't believe Mrs. Trump has ever discussed her thoughts on anything with Mr. Giuliani. So is this statement calling Rudy a liar, or is this statement saying, I don't trust my husband, and oh yeah, Rudy's a liar? So they're both liars.
Well, it could be a half step. It could be that, presumably, we don't know this, but perhaps Melania had some conversations with her husband, the president, regarding these allegations of sexual relations with a porn star while they were married. And perhaps the president relayed and presented to Giuliani what he perceived as his wife's position to be. But I would say also during this trip to Israel, in which apparently he's getting paid to speak, he also made comments that Kim Jong-un came back begging on his hands and knees for this meeting. And Pompeo today, during his briefing, said that and reminded everybody that Giuliani does not speak officially for the administration.
Well, one more offhanded quote from Giuliani. When asked whether or not Melania Trump believed her husband would win the 2016 election, Giuliani is quoted as saying, "Women always think their husbands will win. Trump is a real gentleman who respects his wife and loves his daughter, but most especially his daughter, and has a warm..." I threw that last part in. "And has a warm relationship with his ex-wives." You know, if you don't have a good relationship with your two ex-wives or the daughter you'd like to sleep with them, what sort of man are you? So I just want to get that little story back out there for the record, my friend. You know, updates. That's what we do. When the news continues to break, we continue to break it.
I know we're going to
right
get
here
back
on the
to
Devil's Advocate.
Wisconsin politics, but is Giuliani seemingly going more and more off the rails here? I mean, do you think he's representing the president's best interests?
Well, I think the president probably told him, "No, Melania believes me. She so believes me. And she's been out of the public sight for 3 weeks because she totally believes him." I feel quite confident, Dom. So if Trump told Giuliani to go out there and tell the world that my wife believes me, well, Giuliani's just doing as instructed. He owes a fiduciary responsibility to his client. But Melania apparently feels history is owed a clarity of the record, Dom. And she apparently does not trust either Giuliani, and by extrapolation, I think she does think her husband had a affair with one or multiple porn stars.
I'm wondering who at this point does not, and what are you basing that? Why would then the president pay the money and show the money on his campaign finance returns? What? Why would that happen? But anyway, I guess people can hide their head in the sand and just deny. Anybody can do that. But if you are a reasonable human being looking at the circumstances of this particular story, I'd love to hear an explanation as to why that you think that is not the case.
Well, and I have seen and listened to the Access Hollywood video, and anyone that makes the goofy statement that Trump is somehow a gentleman apparently somehow missed that day, week, month in history when Trump was grabbing him by the Down back to the dim gubernatorial field here in the state of Wisconsin. It's large enough, in some small part it resembles the Republican presidential field of not so long ago. And the question becomes, how do these candidates distinguish themselves from one another? And there's an article I found, Laurel White of Wisconsin Public Radio, and this one I actually found published at urbanmilwaukee.com online daily. The headline, "Can Tony Evers' laid-back approach win?" I guess, according to the headline, he'd be the anti-Donald Trump. The subheadline, some question his ability to be tough in a campaign against Governor Walker. Let me read first. There's a quote I'd like to get out there on the record.
Yeah, okay, you go ahead, man.
Even though he hasn't been a classroom teacher for years, Wisconsin School Superintendent Tony Evers has the sort of personality you could see coming in handy in a room full of unruly elementary school kids. He's calm and quiet and polite sometimes. Some opponents might say a little too polite for politics. When you ask the Democratic gubernatorial hopeful about one of the biggest political issues of the day, Foxconn, he makes it clear he thinks it was a bad deal for the state, but prefaces his answer with, "It's not that I want to be a jerk about this." It's that type of answer that has some in his party questioning whether Evers is tough enough to beat Republican Governor Scott Walker. And then a quote, I quote liberal radio host Mike Crute, who is quoted as saying, He can't take it. Crute said of Evers on his Devil's Advocates radio show last month, he's a bad debater and he'd be horrible on the stage next to Scott Walker. I'm sure my tone was something similar to that. Our buddy Jeff Mayers, president of WisPolitics.com, a news service for political insiders, acknowledges Evers is not what some Democrats in Wisconsin are looking for right now. I think he has a lot of rank-and-file Democrats. I think a lot of rank-and-file Democrats are looking for the passionate leader who will go out there and, cut up the Republicans and lead them to resurgence. But Evers pushes back on the criticism. He says being a loud, tough, aggressive candidate isn't what's going to win this race for Democrats. Shouting does not translate into leadership, he said. I am who I am, and that's all that I am. Honest to God, I've been doing this for a long time, so I don't feel any pressure to change. Now, the article goes on, Don, but I got to point out, Tony Evers is sort of two guys in one. And when this whole race first started, and I watched Tony Evers, I was out there the day he declared his candidacy. And, I was less than enthused about his candidacy. I did not think he was tough enough, quote unquote, to go put up his dukes and differentiate and to fight Scott Walker. It would be a street brawl to effectively beat Scott Walker, in my opinion. I didn't know that Tony Evers was a brawler, but Dom, perhaps my opinion on the man has changed a little bit. I would point out what precipitated my leaving the race in some small part, embarrassment over an interaction I had with Tony Evers the day of the Educators Amplified gubernatorial edition, quote-unquote, debate, where it was me, Tony, and Kelda Royce. And I pushed Tony on what I perceived as his policies, and Tony, responded somewhat angrily, sort of shouted down the stage at me, and when the event was done, wouldn't shake my hand, and he and I went jaw to jaw, and I've detailed what was said, but let's just say Tony's got a little profane streak. And then at the DPW, we see Tony throwing out a GD. I'm so sick and tired of Scott Walker's GD bad policies.
You mean taking the Lord's name in vain, as Walker pointed out?
Well, as Walker would characterize it, I saw one more quote, and it was not profane, but it certainly, was a little blunt and harsh. And I would say this, Tom, perhaps I didn't see the passion, the true colors of this candidate. Maybe Tony Evers, maybe I've underestimated him. Maybe he's a dynamo and I didn't even know it, Tom.
I'll continue this article and then I'll ask you some questions, Curdy. Again, we found this in the Urban Milwaukee by Laurel White from Wisconsin Public Radio. Evers has the political standing to run for governor in part because of his quiet, steady personality. He has years of experience as a successful behind-the-scenes guy running Wisconsin's Department of Instruction. He's an education policy expert. Before being elected superintendent in 2009, Evers worked as a school principal in Tomah, superintendent and administrator in Oakfield and Verona, administrator in Oshkosh, and deputy state superintendent. He argues his years of experience with education have prepared him to govern the whole state. At the root of his argument is how education touches so many things. People recognize the importance of education for economic development, for our democracy, for having good health systems, for having well-trained workforce. All of those things begin in our K-12 education system, University of Wisconsin system, tech college system. Evers does get animated when he talks about how overseeing school curricula on Wisconsin's natural resources has prepared him to guide the state environmental policy. He also points out that he has the executive experience necessary to be a good governor. I've actually run things, he said, referring to the size of DPI. According to state figures, the department oversees about 100,000 full-time staff and 860,000 students. Early supporters urged Evers to run for governor because Wisconsin voters liked him enough to elect him state schools superintendent 3 times. Wisconsin's last Democratic governor, Jim Doyle, won 3 terms as state attorney general before he made the jump. Evers talks about the power of his name recognition and his record of winning elections a lot in his campaign. He says he brings to the table one very big thing Wisconsin Democrats are looking for in 2018. Quote, they're looking for somebody who can beat Scott Walker, for starters. But while Evers does emphasize his statewide name recognition, he also says at the end of the day, people cast ballots for candidates they think have the right values. Evers supports putting more money into schools, implementing universal background checks for gun sales, and chipping away at Walker's moves to limit the power of union workers in Wisconsin. He says he'd move towards a full repeal of Act 10 by going piece by piece, doing things like walking back Wisconsin's right to work law and reinstating the prevailing wage for workers on state projects. Education, workforce issues, healthcare, natural resources, all those things at the end of the day are around what our values are as a state, he said. Evers says Wisconsin voters appreciate and will come to appreciate as he meets more of them. That he's an authentic candidate. He's open and true to who he is. He's not going to change just because he's running for governor, even if some people might want him to.
Dom, I would disagree. I have seen an evolution of sorts of Tony Evers. I've certainly seen more passion. I've certainly seen more profanities, and I don't hold that against him ultimately. You know, I'm plenty profane when the FCC's not listening. So that in and of itself does not bother me, but I would say we have seen, in some small part, an evolution of Tony Evers, because the man that began running the race, that quiet and calm Tony Evers, well, he's shown that he's also got this capability, a passionate street fighter.
What about your quote?
Sorts.
He's a bad debater. Do you rescind that?
I don't take that one back. I'm not clear that he is a strong debater, but I have seen, you know, a skosh of passion in Tony Evers and his candidacy that I did not know exist. And I would say it might be in his best interest someday to clarify.
Maybe it just took you to get it out of him, Crudy. You do that to a lot of folks, I imagine.
Yeah, I make you passionate nearly every day right here on the radio. Come back with us, 844-967-2789.
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways.
Oh, you've got it.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville, I needed a new heel for my shoe. So I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they call Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt.
I'm afraid right now for the future of my children's generation and those to come.
In this age of mass school shootings, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker offers the same bold agenda of the National Rifle Association.
Make sure you remember in your thoughts and more importantly in your prayers.
While Walker offers platitudes, he blocks meaningful gun safety legislation.
It's really an honor to work with the NRA, not only in my state, but across the country. And I'm proud of my A+ ranking as a governor.
Walker weakened the gun laws in Wisconsin, and then he got $3.5 million worth of NRA support.
There have been men and women of courage who've been willing to stand up and think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they thought about their own futures.
Scott Walker, you are not one of them. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
J.D. Davis Funeral Home, located at 4803 West Burlott Street, is dedicated, dignified, and distinguished in serving you in your time of need. Direct cremation specials starting at a very low cost of $595. That does not include cremation permit or crematory fee. Traditional funeral packages starting at $1,995 with a 20-gauge metal casket included. Title 19, Milwaukee County General Assistance accepted. Call today, 414-444-8300.
Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
I'm Jesse Pika-Holz with Solidarity Realty. If you're looking for a home in Madison or Dane County, call me. I know Madison. I know homes. I'll protect your best interests. Call Solidarity Realty at 608-284-9311 or search solidarityrealty.com.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Saturdays for Busted Pencils, fully leaded education talk with Dr. Tim Slecker, 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the voice of the voiceless, champion of the working class. Earl Ingram's Saturday show is live from 12 to 3 p.m. Then Right Meets Left with the Joel and Joe Costa Show. Republican State Rep Joel Clayfish and Democratic State Rep Joe Costa Zamarupa go toe-to-toe from 3 to 4. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling devil's advocates.
And welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Thank you so much for listening to us here on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. You can give us a call if you choose. You can call or text at 844-967-2789.
Dominic, something's always shaking on Brady Street. And don't tell me Tony Evers ain't got no heart. I got some breaking news right here, buddy. This is going to be a crushing blow for the Dem gubernatorial field. The WBA, I am a member, Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, has just announced, made notice to its membership, after much deliberation and discussion, the WBA Foundation Board has decided to withdraw its offer to hold live broadcast primary debates for the Republican U.S. Senate primary and Democratic gubernatorial primary. The WBA is canceling both primary debates. A lot of objections, but here's what they say in a statement. There's a lot of interest in these primary elections, which is why we initially made an attempt to hold these debates. WBA President, CEO Michelle Vitterkind said, by withdrawing the offer for the primary debates, others can now pursue candidate forums in their respective primaries. Broadcasters remain committed to helping Wisconsin voters make informed decisions at the ballot box, and the WBA Foundation is looking forward to playing an important role in the process this fall. Well, I'm looking forward to playing an important role, Dom. The relevance of Resistance Radio, it just got a little more relevant. Where are you going to go? Dems, where are you going to go? You better call Crudy, 844-967-2789.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, Let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Here's how you get 'em. If someone invites you for a cocktail, you bring them beer. If someone invites you to dinner, you bring a casserole. That's how you make friends. That's the Wisconsin way.
Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We've got a patented system. We also do another step that most people don't do. We have a double rotating brush machine that we use when we pre-treat the carpet. So this helps dig up any of that stuff that's deeper in your carpet that the vacuum doesn't get. We're going to provide that intermediary step before we clean with our empowered water.
Call Zero Res today, 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Hello, friends. Tom Malanzi here from Teamsters Local 200. Here's a fact. United States Labor Department statistics show union workers receive, on average, 30% more in pay and benefits than non-union workers doing the same job. If you're a worker interested in receiving better wages and benefits and respect at your workplace, give Teamsters Local 200 a call at 414-771-6363 and ask to speak to a Teamsters Local 200 organizer today.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The Devil's Advocates.
Tom Perez, chair of the Democratic National Committee. Scott Walker went on something of a Twitter storm, very Trumpian. What do you think this foretells for Scott Walker's future as the governor of the state of Wisconsin?
Wisconsinites have woken up. He talked about we need an optimistic message. How can you make people feel optimistic when you take away their health care? How can you make people optimistic when you take away the right to bargain? How can you make people feel optimistic when you're gerrymandering the heck out of districts?
Radio for the 99%.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has affirmed the use of TIF districts by municipalities to help revitalize blighted areas. The municipalities can offer grants to developers and fund roads and other infrastructure in the tax incremental financing districts. The money comes from property tax revenue. Conservative law firm Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed a lawsuit in 2015 challenging the use of a TIF district to help fund the new Confluence Arts Center in downtown Eau Claire. And the Brewers lost to the Indians yesterday 3-1. They have today off, then go to Philadelphia for a 3-game series with the Phillies starting tomorrow night. Outside this afternoon, mostly sunny. Then mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the low 50s in Milwaukee, upper 50s in Madison. You're listening to Resistance Radio.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, we're in the midst of the happy hour, but there's got to be some candidates feeling awfully sad right now. Once again, the breaking news, I know this, and I've reported this as a WBA member in Crudy. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association has withdrawn their invitations for both the Dem gubernatorial debate and also the Republican senatorial debate. So you got 10 Dem gubernatorial candidates. They're shut out. No televised debates will happen unless someone steps up.
Right. No televised debates are going to happen, sponsored and put on
for
by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association.
So if not the WBA, who's going to do it? It certainly will not be a statewide simulcast free to the station owners. And that also, of course, would have been played out right here on Resistance Radio. We would have broadcast the sound. We would have broadcast the radio, and I'm sure we aren't the only station.
There's lots of ways to look at this, but and we're just getting this news, so I'm still kind of processing this myself. But I would imagine if there is as much demand as seems to be for some sort of televised debate, it can happen even if the WBA took their ball and went home because they were being criticized for arbitrary criteria.
And who's going to have that debate, and where are they going to televise it? I mean, maybe on Facebook live stream, Dom, but I think the realization is going to hit these campaigns.
How does anything else happen?
Quickly.
You get sponsorships and you contact the
And who's going to step up and take those steps and throw 10 candidates on the stage and put together sponsorships? You know, I know we are pretty nimble as a small little outfit, and we kill ourselves trying to put these events together like the DPW live convention and the Brat Fry and all these different events. Hell, we've done our own gubernatorial debate. We did the Educators Amplified gubernatorial edition. But, Dom, I can tell you there will not be a televised debate. I cannot imagine who's going to step up. Or if it is televised, it's going to be televised on cable access somewhere. It's certainly not going out statewide.
Well, then help me understand the process here. What was it about the WBA that was going to simulcast this? Why couldn't individual organization, whatever that organization may be, maybe a new 501c3 is created, all right, and the point is to have some sort of debate. They reach out to the very same channels that we're going to broadcast it anyway. How is that any different? Tell me
Someone's got to put... Because no one's putting those logistics together, not between here and July 27th.
What do you mean? How's the WBA? So only the WBA could do that? They're the only ones that could do that? Come on,
they're the only ones that have a will to do that, Dom. I mean, maybe Wisconsin Public Television, but I'm not clear who else would have the ability or the desire. I mean, you're acting like there's all sorts of people that want to step up and host a debate for 10 Dem gubernatorial candidates, and you're absolutely wrong, my friend. Who would that be? If it's not the WBA, it's not going to frickin' happen. There's a much greater likelihood with the small field that Vukmer and Nicholson will get their day because some Republicans will pay for that. But when you got a field of 10 and no one's got the money, who in the hell do you think is going to step up and incur the cost and hope that affiliates send the checks in? We know how that game is played, my friend. There's no one that's going to take that risk.
Then explain to me how the WBA was going to do it. They're just going to do it for free?
Well, historically, they are a foundation. They receive dollars from WBA members like us. We pay membership dues to the organization. They allocate some of that for things like holding gubernatorial debates. And when they take their ball and go home, as you describe it, Tom, well, then those candidates, they are effectively high and dry because there is not another broadcast organization to step into that breach.
But you're assuming there's only a broadcast organization that has the ability to do that. I don't know why you think that is. Why is it only a broadcast organization that can step up and do that, Crudy?
That's supposed to occur about 7 weeks from now. There's 70 days between here and the primary election day, Dom. And somebody today is going to start organizing this event, start pulling together the resources, start selling it. I mean, give me a break. It's not going to happen. There will not be a televised Dem gubernatorial debate.
All right, so was the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, were they, quote-unquote, selling it? Or were they just fronting the cost?
They just effectively put on the event. I'm sure that they have some ongoing commercial sponsorships that they work with, but someone still has to be willing. I mean, television time is very expensive, and nobody's going to buy it as a block programming. No one's going to buy a couple of hours of television time because if an hour is insufficient, what are you going to put 10 candidates on an hour with 44 minutes of content and give them each 3 minutes? No, that was part of the breakdown of the original debate format. Try to stretch it to 2 hours. Now you got a bigger task, bigger hill to climb because you got to block out 2 hours of television programming. I would put it to you this way, Dom. I think effectively, and maybe this is instant reaction and perhaps self-serving in that we are in the progressive radio business, but if we don't put on some sort of made-for-radio debate events, I'm not even clear who else on the radio gives a damn about the Dem gubernatorial candidates debating, Dom. Because if it's not public television, if it's not us, who's it's going to be? Because it's not going to be the WBA. Breaking news. They have canceled both debates, and I don't think anyone's stepping in that breach, Tom, unless you're getting out your big fat checkbook.
844-967-2789. I got plenty of checks, Crudy. I'm just not clear all of them would cash. But the WBA already kind of laid out how it was. And I want to talk logistically about this. They were going to, have this go to a satellite, then the other affiliates got to pull it down. It was going to be made available if people wanted to carry it, right? I mean, there was certain criteria that they kind of put out there. Well, and I get the resources, but you're going to tell me that no other organization could step into that breach and do the same business plan?
I'm not saying it's theoretically impossible. I'm just saying there's no one else that will do so. I mean, best case
nobody
scenario,
else cares? I mean, that's the point?
Effectively, nobody else does care, Dom. You might have a Sinclair Broadcasting Group step up and take the Republican debate. You might have, ISN, TMJ, the Republicans may care about their senatorial outcome, and I have no doubt that they'll find a way to make those debates happen, whether they're televised or, broadly available through right-wing talk radio. But when you talk about the field of 10 Democratic gubernatorial candidates, I don't know that any broadcast outlet gives a damn about whether or not they get fair and equal time on the stage, Dom. The WBA threw out their arbitrary rules, and the candidates didn't like it, and they said, screw you guys. Hell, in fact, you Republicans, screw you as well. We're taking our ball, and we're going home this year. We'll just wait till the fall.
That's very interesting. No, I'm unclear what, and I'm just trying to process and perhaps push back, Kurt. I know I can tell you're very passionate about this. Do you think that this is, and I don't know what the foundation member makeup is, but do you think this is a plan to just push back on all the Dems? Because, of course, I mean, there's not that many Republicans running.
Well, quite frankly, it very well could be. If you look at the historical makeup of the WBA membership. Now, the outgoing president, Roger Untmer, is a fine progressive guy and a good solid capitalist. I mean, he's done well in the radio business, primarily in the Door County area. The guy has been very generous of spirit, given me much good advice, Dom. But it's pretty much me and Roger, and I'm not sure who there are across the state of Wisconsin. There are no other progressive radio outlets. There are very few independent radio news talk outlets, period. And of what interest is a dim gubernatorial debate to a guy like, let's say, Jerry Bott over at WISN?
But let's stay with the television, though. What interest is it
Scott
of them in the first place to carry the WBA's presentation? What interest would they have to do that in the first place? Wouldn't the same interest still be there? Whatever interest was there doesn't go away because the distribution of the content is no longer going to be the WBA.
But the primary sponsorships lie with the WBA because they've been the historical host. And if someone's got to go out and start selling this package and, it's some random television entities ready to step up and then they're going to unleash their salespeople, it was the WBA that's already filled up the sponsorships. They probably already had this thing sold to whatever level they anticipated selling it. And anybody else that wants to go out there and start over with corporate sponsorships, I can tell you, it's hard selling sponsorships, Tom. We know this. It's hard to find people that care as passionately about the outcomes of a dim gubernatorial debate as, let's say, the Resistance Radio audience might.
But again, that the same market that would be there
I don't care if you're
there.
cynical. No one's going to televise this debate. You can tell me I'm wrong, and when there's no debate between here and August 14th, then you will have to acknowledge nobody stepped into the breach.
So the WBA was only doing this out of the goodness of their heart initially? That's the only reason? There's no demand?
I think that's their role as a broadcasters association.
So are they advocating their role then?
Sure. Sure they are. Sure they are. Rather than making tough choices or reformatting or asking their affiliates down the line to consider extending the coverage for 2 hours to try and adequately accommodate 10 possible candidates, they basically said, screw you guys, I'm going that way.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
There will not be a televised debate, and that's a crying shame, Dom, but I don't see how anyone steps up, again, on the dim gubernatorial side. I'm not saying that one of the sugar daddies and mamas funding this Republican campaign Because there's millions of dollars behind that, and if someone's willing to put up $1 million, yeah, you can have yourself a damn televised debate. But quite frankly, I bet you Leah Vukmir would probably run from that debate, although they've had enough quote-unquote debates in forums. But the Dem gubernatorial candidates, they are the ones that need to distinguish themselves. They are the ones that are going to be left out in the cold. And once again, I'll just tell you guys, you better call Crudy, 844-967-2789, because if we don't play it here, I don't think there's going to be a Dem gubernatorial debate. And, Dom, I'm not clear on the Crudy Broadcasting Network that we won't be just as arbitrary as the WBA was intending to be.
We are the Devil's Advocates. We'll be right back. 844-967-2789.
We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get lucky.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest the Democrats use it.
Evil will always triumph because good is dumb.
Here at Bounce Milwaukee, we not only want families and friends to build connections, we also want to grow those connections in our community. That's why every Wednesday night from 5 to 8 p.m., we host Refuel the Resistance. It's a great chance to have a drink in our arcade bar, try something from our fantastic restaurant, connect with progressive activists, and support local organizations. For more information about Bounce Milwaukee's Refuel the Resistance, visit us at bouncemilwaukee.com or call 414-312-4357.
On marijuana, unfortunately, as a public health issue and a public safety issue, I've opposed that.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, how can medical marijuana help those addicted to opioids?
There's three big things. There's clear consensus now that cannabis can treat pain. That is not an opinion. That is a consensus conclusion by big scientific bodies like the National Academy of Science. We also know that it can help treat the withdrawal symptoms of opioids. People, they don't want to be on them anymore. They want to quit, but they develop the terrible withdrawal symptoms. And now we have evidence that it can actually help heal the part of the brain that is diseased in someone who's an opioid addict. If you had to start from scratch and design a substance to help lead us out of the opioid epidemic, like in a lab, it would probably look very much like cannabis.
Call Governor Scott Walker at 608-266-1212. Tell him good people do smoke marijuana. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values, building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern. Ignacio, what do you got for us today?
Hey, I quit paying attention for like maybe one day, and all hell breaks loose. That goes to show me I got to pay attention every single day to your radio program, or else who knows what'll happen.
If you don't listen to the Devil's Advocates 3 hours every day, Nacho, you're missing a lot.
You got that right. I just learned that today. I turned it on and I'm listening, and you really just rocked my world today. I was just totally blown away.
Save the $2 on tomorrow's paper. Listen to the Devil's Advocates today.
Totally blown away.
The Devil's Advocates. Never personal, only politics.
And welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Last segment of the day. So if you've got something to say, now is your time. 844-967-2789.
Dominic, the breaking news at the hour, the WBA, Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, they are taking their balls and going home. There will be no televised Dem gubernatorial debate. There will be no WBA televised Republican senatorial debate. And, Dom, theoretically, someone could step into that breach, but I don't know what organization that would be. Like I said, call the Devil's Advocates, man. I don't know who else you're going to call. Maybe the Ghostbusters.
Ian from Milwaukee, you are up. Thanks for calling. Ian, what do you got today?
Hey, I just got a question. I'm just wondering, how dare you guys, man? You know?
How dare we what?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, in all honesty, though, so I was on Reddit, and somebody posted, why does your state suck? And I was thinking, well, I don't like to say Wisconsin sucks, but I think my state sucks for the same reason most places suck anywhere, is greed. So it comes down to, you got one person who's got an opportunity to make, you know, a few $1 million off the backs of 1 million families, and they go for it. But anyway, I love the state, love listening to you guys. Glad that Dom was out there in Milwaukee with the Civil Rights Marchers for the anniversary the other day, a few weeks back.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was great. I'm so glad you guys covered that. And anyway, Pizza Box Mike is a pretty cool guy. But that's all I got. You guys
all right,
take
Oh,
care.
man, no kind words for Crudy?
Keep running. Run again, man.
Yeah, right? All right, Ian. Hey, man, we certainly appreciate it. Keep on listening and give us a call anytime. You're always welcome
Do you
here.
realize how PO'd I'd be right now as a Dem gubernatorial candidate? I'd be mad as a wet hornet. My entire campaign was about getting on the debate stage.
Yeah, but, I mean, depends. If you're on the lower half of that list, you're probably not as mad as if you were on the top half of that list.
Okay, so Paul Soglin and Josh Pate are feeling okay about the outcome, but even Soglin might have snuck through the eye of the keyhole and made it up on the stage. I mean, hard telling how it coulda, woulda, shoulda shook out, but there will be no televised WBA debates, and I'm afraid to say, Dom, I don't think there will be any debates. And, buddy, you know, I got a birthday coming up. And why is it special this year?
Because it's a special election.
Yeah. Let's talk about that just briefly. Patrick Marley, Craig Gilbert at the Journal-Sentinel Online. Tuesday's special elections in Wisconsin could offer clues about a possible blue wave. Sturgeon Bay, the Dateline Tuesday State Senate showdown won't determine who holds the seat for long, but it could provide some clues about how contests across Wisconsin will play out this fall. The winner of the unusually timed election will have to stand again on November 6th for a full 4-year term. But both sides see the race in northeastern Wisconsin as crucial because winning next week will give the victor an advantage in the fall. Here's a quote, Dom. I think it will give somebody a leg up. Yeah, no kidding. Said Patrick Gerasi.
Way to go. Come on, Patrick. Way to dig deep for that one, man.
A Democratic strategist, but they will continue to have to work their ass off. Come on, what are you going down the Tony Evers profane route? The race is also closely watched because winning the seat this fall would greatly improve the Democrats' chances of taking control of the Senate. Democrats have been winning special elections across the country, including in northwestern Wisconsin in January, thanks in part to a spike in turnout and enthusiasm on the left. A win for their side would be another sign it'd be possible. Blue wave in November. Here's another quote, Dom. Mark Grahl, a Republican consultant, if there's a big Dem turnout and Republicans stay home, then I think it does play well into that narrative, not just in Wisconsin, but across the country. The race pits Democrat Caleb Frostman, we've had him on the show, the former director of economic development for Door County, against GOP Andre the Giant, Andre Jock of De Pere. The 1st Senate District includes all of Door and Kewaunee counties and parts of Brown, Manitowoc, Calumet, and Outagamie counties. The race will provide some information about the mood of the electorate, but that data can easily be overinterpreted, Dom.
It's kind of like the Rorschach test, isn't it? Garashi said, you see what you want to see in some of these special elections. Said Grahl, I wouldn't go overboard in trying to make predictions based on a special election. The first week, kids are out of school and people are paying attention to other things.
Yeah, a lot of people could be shopping for Crudy birthday gifts that day.
In a low turnout standalone June election, both sides are focused on turning out the base. On a recent swing through the district, reporters followed Frostman as he visited Democratic homes in Sturgeon Bay and Jacques as he visited Republican homes in De Pere. Obviously, Caleb and I are knocking on different doors, said Jacques. Frostman talked at the doors about investing in schools, healthcare, and natural resources, and told voters that as a hunter and fisherman, I care a lot about wetlands. Jacques mentioned his work on public safety, domestic abuse, human trafficking, and drunk driving. What does Jacques think about making sex with animals a felony? Was he for that or against that? I don't remember. I think he was against it.
I thought he was for it.
Well, I thought his brother was kind of ripping on him because he wasn't for it.
No, the other Republicans. His brother was ripping on other Republicans for not supporting what apparently was the only position that Andre
the Jacques.
Andre's against fornication with farmyard animals, apparently. Or his positions would suggest he's against.
Okay,
You
good.
never know, Dom.
Thank you for the clarification. I didn't want to be wrong in that. But it is a special election. It is next Tuesday. And I don't know. Hopefully we'll have a big turnout, and I do think that it will be. As much as they want to downplay it, I think it will be telling to see what the motivation is of both sides.
And all you Dem gubernatorial candidates, you better reach out. We will offer to host any sort of Dem gubernatorial debates you need. I can't put them on the TV, but we can certainly put them on the Resistance Radio Network. Appreciate you all listening. I'll say something to Malin Mitchell, a fine Dem. He joins us live on Brady tomorrow about 3:30. Have a great night, everyone. My little son, Caden, going to his 8th grade graduation next. I am honored and quite proud. And he's much taller than you. He could certainly dunk on you by now.
Bring it.
Have a great night, buddy. See you in Milwaukee tomorrow.
How could your wife think there's a 1% chance you were with prostitutes peeing on each other in Moscow?
I'm not an expert on the facts yet. I'm getting there.
Be best.